This is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, where each week this brother-sister duo gets together
to discuss
the box office, latest film and TV scoops, also our latest movie or show review, and what we're getting into next. We are your hosts,
Cheryl
and Jay.
Were you struggling? You tried to read it without looking, didn't you?
I don't think I've done the intro
yet?
off the top of my head in quite some time.
Okay, I was like, it's on there paper.
I tried to test myself.
We be trying to do it without the paper, and
I failed.
He ain't ready yet.
So this week we watched a throwback, Abigail, for spooky season.
Is it considered a throwback if it's this year though?
The recent throwback,
okay.
I guess. And this week Cheryl has the trivia, so let's do it.
So in the movie Abigail, one of the Giancarlo Esposito's character, Lambert, gives everybody pseudonyms because they're not supposed to know each other's names.
Right.
So he calls them Frank, Dean, Sammy, Peter, Joey, and Don Wrinkles. Who are these characters from?
I thought that was interesting because the dude he called Don Wrinkles was like, oh, he's got his finger on the pulse of pop culture. And I was like, I don't know who these people are.
Oh, so this is very good trivia.
Okay, what are the names again?
So they are Frank, Dean, Sammy, Peter, Joey, and Wrinkles.
Frank, Dean, Joey, Peter. They're all characters from one thing?
Yes.
Okay. Can I get a date range?
The 60s.
Oh.
A group of celebrities in the 60s. Frank and Dean should set it off.
I'm drawing a complete
Okay, let me
blank.
give you a more recent movie that you remember.
Okay.
Ocean's 11. The original Ocean's 11.
I remember the original Ocean's 11.
Okay, and that group of actors were called something back in the 60s. Come on, are you too young for this question?
That's a group of actors. George Clooney and
Frank, Dean, Sammy, Peter, Joey, and Wrinkles.
Oh, like Sammy Davis Jr.?
Yes. Frank Sinatra. What was the group?
The Rat Pack?
Exactly.
Oh,
yes.
Got it.
So all of the Frank
sense.
Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, Joey Bishop, and Don Wrinkles.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
And then later, like I think 2 seconds later, he says, "I'll see you rats later." And even when he said that, I was like,
because wasn't Oceans made after that, or based on that group?
Yes. So the Rat Pack wasn't a movie,
right,
but that was a group of actors, and those group of actors made Ocean's 11.
Right. Was it had the same name?
No. The original Ocean's 11 was called Ocean's 11.
Oh
yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
And the Rat Pack was the group of actors in the movie.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
Well, so now you know a little piece of
it.
60s movie. I was like, oh, he gonna probably know this easily. Whoops.
Okay. Well, that is the trivia for this week.
It was a hard one. I'm sorry.
Let's get into the rest of the episode. Welcome, fellow movie buffs. I'm Jay.
I'm Cheryl.
Listen in as we break down movie and TV shows, tell you what's in the plot, and hear if we think you should have watched it when you had the chance.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so we actually have trailers this week, y'all.
We do.
We got some vacancy taken up in the trailer park. Before that, we're going to talk about a new sequel that just got announced, and then we have a pretty full crunch on the bunch side. So let's start up at the top. Ready or Not, and this news actually came out Sunday. I was like, too bad we edit on Sundays. Can't throw this in here,
and it's on theme because we just watched a Radio Silence movie.
Exactly. Ready or Not 2 is in the works. Samara Weaving and Radio Silence is the production company, and it's made up of 4 guys, but 2 of the guys I believe are directors, so they just call them Radio Silence.
Yes.
They are returning for this sequel. The 2019 Ready or Not movie was made for only $6 million, which
I didn't know that.
I can believe, though.
Super cheap. But have you seen Ready or Not?
I've seen a kill count video.
You should watch it. You would like it.
Okay.
It doesn't have many, like it has some acting legends that you would recognize from
Okay.
other stuff because they've just been around, but it makes sense because it doesn't have any like A-list current stars.
Okay.
And I think it was like the movie that made Samara Weaving. So
Yes.
cheap, that makes sense.
Yep, but it grossed over 28 million. So cha-ching,
Yeah.
ching. It was, from what I saw of it, it did seem it's a horror comedy, so it's not like a straight horror movie. So it's just right up my alley.
Yeah, and the whole marketing with her in the bride's gown and the
Yes.
gun and all the arsenal,
Right.
artillery weapons and stuff.
Now I am curious what the sequel is going to be. So let's not spoil the first one, but the way that the movie ended, I'm kind of like, now how do we get a sequel out of this? So I'm very curious of because plot details are unknown at this time.
I can assume
Okay.
that she did not get a real divorce. So she is still,
Okay.
I guess she's now the last living member of that family because they had the wedding.
You're right.
Because the whole point of the movie, not spoiling the end of the movie,
Right.
but the whole point of the movie is that she marries into a family that has a lot of wealth, but
Right.
the wealth that they've been given is based on like a demon that gave it to them, made them a deal, and said every time you marry somebody into the family, you have to play a game.
Right.
But one of the games is Ready or Not, which is about murder.
She picked a round game, essentially. Okay.
And I think
that's
you
a good
have to
plot
do
point.
it if you marry in. And she did marry in, so maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So Radio Silence, if you are not familiar with those, that group, they are behind the requels for Scream 5 and 6.
Yes.
And then they also directed the movie that we just watched for this week, Abigail.
Yes.
So they are very notable in the horror space.
They are. I really liked their work on Scream 5 and 6. We watched Abigail, which we will get into later. But I did enjoy Ready or Not 1.
Yes.
And
from what I saw, it was pretty good.
I did enjoy Samara Weaving for the 5 minutes she was in Scream 6. Because she did not.
Right.
They Drew Barrymore her.
It's the same chick. I don't know why my mind didn't put two and two together.
So excited to see her in
You're
a
right.
slasher again where she may live.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for all of our movie announcements. Let's get into the trailer park.
All right. So
Toot.
first.
Beep, beep. I'm going to get it in.
Sorry.
At any moment.
So the first stop we have on Trailer Park is for Dune Prophecy. This is an HBO Max series that is going to premiere on November 17th. More
Very
Dune.
close.
Dune prequel.
Yes, this is set several hundred years before Paul Atreides is even born, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken.
So let's see who we have on the cast of this because I did not.
It's a lot. I won't say unknowns, but I don't think it's any. Well, first of all, it's not anybody from the movies, clearly, because it goes way too far in the future. It's mostly about the Ben Gesserit, though, how they
Yes.
came to be.
And then I guess this
that's
is
fine.
This is supposed to be the beginning of the prophecy of Paul Atreides. Maybe how they first prophesied
Realized that Paul was going to be who he
and
was.
set it in motion because apparently everything in Dune is supposed to have been orchestrated by them. So
Okay.
maybe this is them setting all that
I
up.
think the idea of the Ben Gesserit is cool. I don't know, and I said this about Penguin, so I could be wrong. I don't know if I care enough about them to have a whole show.
So
I guess because this is a prequel versus Penguin, it's set after, so I already kind of know what y'all about to do.
yeah.
So I don't know.
So I only mentioned it's an ensemble cast. It looks like it's going to be a lot of people in this.
Okay.
I'll only mention 2 people. That's
Okay.
Mark Strong, who you know from being Mark Strong, and
okay.
also in The Penguin.
Yep.
And Emily Watson, who you know where we recognize her from?
Her name sounds familiar.
Chernobyl. She was the lead actress scientist in Chernobyl.
Okay.
Which was really good. If you have not watched Chernobyl, you need to
recommend
watch
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl. It's a short watch too, so
Very good.
not very many episodes.
Don't look up the real pictures though.
So what does this trailer look like? It looks like more Dune, just darker.
It's very dark.
Like there's,
Ain't no light, no sunlight, no candles. It's just like, what am I looking at?
I guess because it doesn't take place on Dune. Dune is the planet.
Right.
So
Or Arrakis is the planet.
Arrakis.
Or one of the, whatever.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna correct us in the comments. Y'all know what we mean.
It doesn't take place on Arrakis, so wherever
Right.
it is, it's super dark. It looks. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not gonna look at this. I'm not gonna watch it.
I'm not that interested. I guess.
I'm not gonna watch it only because even though I like Dune movies,
Yes.
and they are very good and they are very pretty and they are well acted and
I'm
well written.
I'm cool on Dune. Yeah.
The interesting parts of Dune to me are stretched so far across that runtime.
Okay. The last one has more action than the first one, but it still could have ramped it up. They were talking about this like Lord of the Rings fight. I'm like, nah,
yeah, I need Dune to get into its Two Towers phase.
Which seems like what the next one is going to be about.
In the next movie, Dune Messiah seems like it's going to be really exciting. So
Yes.
I'm ready for Dune Messiah. I'm going to skip Dune Prophecy. But it does look like it's going to be good, well acted.
If it gets a lot of like chatter, I may check it out.
And I think I've been a little burned by Penguin because Penguin is good.
Yeah.
But when Penguin is boring, Penguin is boring.
I wouldn't call it boring, but it's a slow burn. Now, I will admit, it took me until 4 episodes to hop on the train. Because you were watching it, you were ahead of me. And I was like, okay, you watching it, let me watch it. You was have I watched it? I was like, no, let me watch it. And then I'm on 4, you haven't seen 4 yet. And I'm like, okay, I'm finally like, I'm on board. I'm on the train. I got my seat. I got my ticket. Let's ride it the rest of the way. But it took a little bit.
So
this episode's like an hour.
Yeah. So, and I don't think this is going to HBO proper. I think it's only.
It's a Max.
It's just going to be on the Max streaming show.
Yes. Because Lord of the Rings or whatever the spinoff is called is on Max and on HBO, and I think this is just on Max.
It's interesting. It says its first episode is going to air on USA as well.
They do that sometimes to get people interested in it. Yep.
So Dune looks good. I don't think I'll watch it because I do think I have enough Dune.
Yeah, I'm cool with the movies.
Yeah.
I don't need a prequel.
Next stop on the trailer park is Wolfman. This is a Lee Whannell, maker of Saw, directed film that is going to theaters January 17th, 2025. What did you think of this trailer?
So we got a teaser before that we talked about. This is like a full set trailer. It gives a little backstory, or I guess it shows us how he turns into the Wolfman. Yeah. Now, you think that things are not as they seem because in the trailer, it's a man, his wife, and his child. They get into some sort of car accident. They're in like a U-Haul. It's like a Penske truck or something. Yeah. And somehow a wolf man bites him or scratches him, and he comes infected. And then over the course of the trailer, we suspect that we see him turning into the wolf man and attacking his family. Now, you think that there's actually a second wolf that may be the actual villain? Yes, because the day before they released the new trailer, they put out a poster. And they put out a tagline. This is the first poster. And the tagline was "Protect Your Own." And I thought that was very interesting. Yeah. So I think what's taking place is there's another wolf because he has to get bitten. The trailer opens with the car accident. I don't know. Are they in a tree? I couldn't first of all, the trailer a little too dark. They're suspended in the air. I had to turn the brightness up on my laptop, like all the way up. They're either hanging off of a bridge or they're on the side of the truck is on its side and they're hanging off of something. So I'm not sure. It's very Cabin in the Woods. Okay, yeah. Because I mean they're in a cabin in the woods. So they run to a house that's in a cabin in the woods. It's super dark. They're in like the forest. Yeah. But the car accident that they get into, we don't get a look at the fourth person in this film, but he's clearly dead because we just get the growls of a wolf and then his body being dragged off screen. Yes, the growls sound very effective. The growls do sound very effective, but I thought the tagline "Protect Your Own" was very interesting. Okay. Because I think it's going to, and this is kind of how traditional Wolfman stories go. There's always a guy who's bitten by a wolf. He turns into the wolf who terrorizes everybody throughout the movie, but he always has like a love interest that is holding his humanity together. He got 2 this time. And then the wolf who bit him always ends up coming for his love interest, and then he has to we have to have a wolf fight. Off. Okay. Wolf fight. So I think that's what's taking place. I think he's definitely the threat because he's a wolf, and he's definitely going to be trying to kill Julia Garner and their child. But I do think eventually a second wolf will show up. Okay. It looks good though. There was a lot of we talked about this when the teaser came out. A lot of people were hating on this because there was a wolf figure at like a Halloween Horror Nights, and people were like, "This don't look like no wolf," and they were like, "Trailer now!" Right. So I think it looks good. It's definitely giving a lot of jump scares. Yeah. A lot of growling, a lot of tension. It's a lot of darkness. I like the way it's very dark. It's very like the color grading is like just black and like blue. I guess. A little red. A little red for the fuchsia. But yeah, it's dark. It looks like his transformation is going to be gross. Yeah.
We see like fingernails popping off as he like scrapes his hand, his newly grown claws across the floor.
And he slowly transitions, so it's not like an overnight situation.
Sweaty.
His family sees him transition because he's getting like bumps and his skin's looking all weird, and he's got like night sweats and all that. So it don't look like it's gonna be pleasant at all.
So it also looks a little bit psychological.
Okay. I think he's losing
his mind.
Yeah,
as he's
it seems like he's losing his mind as he's turning to the Wolfman, if I had to guess.
So this is going to star Christopher Abbott as Blake, who is the Wolf Man. Julia Garner, Charlotte, his wife. Matilda Firth, who plays Ginger, the daughter. And there are 3 other people on the cast list. So just like Never Let Go.
Yeah.
When we see those opening credits we see those extra names, those are going to give us the details we need.
Who are they? Right.
These are either dead bodies or extra antagonists.
Or extra wolves.
The
pack.
So, what if it's a pack of wolves?
I would believe that.
Yeah. What if it's like him? What if a wolf bites him and it's like a pack?
And they're turning people to grow their pack.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And that's why it's like protect
because
your
why
own.
Else would you
because his
attack...
his pack is his family.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, because why else would a wolf attack a family in a truck? Minding their business.
Well, usually whenever there's like the Wolfman thing is like you don't have control when you change over. So usually the attacks are random. But I mean, it could be a twist. The Benicio del Toro Anthony Hopkins Wolfman, it wasn't random. Anthony Hopkins had been a wolf the entire time, even when they were kids, and that was like the twist at the end. That they were like a wolf. He was like the wolf man of the family. So.
I expect a twist of some fashion. So you might be right that there is a second wolf.
Excited to see this. This comes out January 17th in theaters.
We got a summer. We got a good one. Not a summer. We got a good one for the winter.
Next stop on the trailer park is for The Electric State. This is a Netflix original film that is going to release on Netflix March 14th. It's not going to theaters because
it doesn't seem like it.
Sidebar. Did you see Daniel Craig's quote?
He ain't too happy about that.
Telling Netflix that their motto is trash, basically. I mean, he was not as nice
so
as that.
So Knives Out, and what I saw was that when they first signed up to do Knives Out, they were like, oh, the sequels will be in the theater. And they literally put these movies in like 5 theaters for a week. And Daniel Craig and Rian Johnson are like, this is not what we signed up for.
Because the movies are good.
Happy about it.
The movies are good and well received. So
it is a bad model. I don't know why they can't just Netflix got the money. They should.
Same for Extraction too.
I don't see why they don't give like a real theatrical release for these movies. But
that's probably why, because they got all the money.
Yeah,
and they want to keep it.
It's kind of janky. I'm on Daniel Craig's side on that.
So the next stop on the trailer park is The Electric State. This is going to be directed by the Russo brothers, who we love in their MCU contributions.
Yes,
they will be coming back as well to close out the multiverse saga.
I don't know much about their non-MCU contributions because I ain't watched those.
They did Community. They did like the best episode of Community. So
they did The Gray Man that I didn't watch.
They did The Gray Man.
Did you watch that?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
Okay.
This is feeling very Gray Man-ish.
This is gonna star a large ensemble cast, so we'll just shoot down it really quick.
Right.
Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt,
Check.
Anthony Mackie,
Check.
Brian Cox, Giancarlo Esposito, Ke Kwan, and Woody Harrelson.
Interesting.
You said Brian Cox is interesting?
Yeah, because he was the one that was ragging on superhero movies not too long ago, and he's literally got the superhero movie directors.
I think Brian Cox has learned that when you rag, that doesn't stop the bills from coming. Right. So,
you still want a check cut.
Yeah.
Okay. Anywho.
Yeah. Working is working.
I was kind of like Brian Cox, the one that was bashing Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm. So this is going to be set in an alternate 1994, and it's about a young girl who's approached by a robot who tells her basically that her missing brother is still alive out there. Yeah. And she is going to accompany this robot into the world to go find him.
So these robots are not your typical like iRobot. These are like very large Lego-fied kid-looking robots.
They're like Iron Giants.
Yeah, with very round heads.
Yeah.
This movie looks weird. That's how I'll just say it.
It does look weird. The trailer doesn't give, even though the trailer is 2 minutes and 30 seconds long.
It doesn't give a ton away. Which I guess is good. Sure.
The only people we see on screen are Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt.
Right.
So
we get a little bit of Kiki Kwan, don't we?
Do we see him on screen?
No. I'm thinking of something else.
So I feel like the rest of these actors are the robots. Because I think Kiki
voicing
Kwan,
a robot?
I think it sounds like Kiki Kwan is voicing her main robot.
Oh,
the big one with the big globular
they're just voice
head.
act. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. Because they're humans and robots are living on the same planet.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the robots everybody lost their like will to live or whatever, lost their rights or whatever. So you're right. I guess, I didn't even think about that. Dang, now I'm even less interested. Because I thought all these actors would be like in the movie.
Yeah, and that's why I think that they're voice actors, because the trailer was 2 minutes and 30 seconds long and we didn't see any of these people in it. So
okay, I'm just slightly less interested now. It looks like it's like a $250 million budget movie. The budget for this is like outrageous.
It looks like that Ryan Reynolds and Mark Ruffalo Netflix movie that came out not too long ago about him going back in the past to find his younger self.
Yes.
It definitely looks like it's like a children's to family movie.
Like
CGI looks good. Chris Pratt does look like he's phoning it in. I also don't know what they thought putting that bob on his head.
He's got like a trucker trailer
like
park.
Airborne bob.
I'm probably offended somebody when I said that, but he looked real like down home on the range.
Everybody does. It looks like the world almost ended at some point.
Yeah, this is very like what do you call it? Dystopian. 1994. I don't know about this.
It looks fun. I probably will look at it.
Okay.
I actually probably will look at it.
Okay. I think that
it's got like some Ready Player One vibes to it a little bit.
Okay, I'd agree with you. I think that it would be funny for this to come out, and I don't know if it's good or not, and people don't like it, and then they got like Avengers next.
And that's like a mixed bag.
And everybody's going to be like, wait, they're not going to be good. It's like, y'all, I think the Russo brothers are not totally different directors, but what they put out when they under the tutelage of Kevin Feige, and then what they put out when they on their own, it's like two totally different products to me. So I don't care.
Yeah, I think, that might be evidence that the executives maybe do help a lot on MCU movies.
Now, Kevin Feige be like, yeah, we not doing no electric boogaloo over here. Okay.
Because if they're able to like pull off a good MCU movie with a clear, concise vision in the MCU, but they aren't able to like pull it together outside of the MCU, that is a testament to Kevin Feige.
Listen. So they're going to be like, listen, we not doing no boogaloo and no electricing over here.
So like we said, you can catch this on streaming March 14th, 2025. Go look at the trailer if you haven't seen it.
It's interesting.
It does look interesting, but it leaves a lot up to interpretation, I guess. So if it's a little bit more clear to you, feel free to fill in the blanks. Let us know.
Are you going to catch out Electric Boogaloo? I'm sorry. Electric State.
Next stop on the trailer park is the Monkey.
Now, this one looks interesting.
This looks good.
Yeah.
So this is coming out February 21st, 2025. That's too far away. It is going to be from the director of Longlegs, Osgood Perkins. And it looks like it's cut like the Longlegs trailer a little. Okay.
It's very sinister.
It's got the vibes.
Sinister from beginning to end of this trailer.
Yeah. So this is going to be a movie, The Monkey, based on a Stephen King short story.
So you already know it's going to be scary.
I haven't read, but I might read it just to get some background on this, because the trailer was really good, but I'm still a little confused about.
I had to read the synopsis before I got it.
How
and then
the
I
monkey
was like,
works.
Oh, okay. Well, the synopsis is I'm going to read the whole thing because you just going to need the whole thing to get it. After stumbling upon their father's vintage toy monkey. Now, the monkey looks like a vintage toy. So think of like Symbol's clapping monkey with the hat on.
Yeah.
I don't think this one has a hat. But
everybody's favorite creepy monkey.
It looks like that creepy monkey that you're thinking of right now in your head. It's that monkey. They find this vintage monkey in the attic. The twin brothers, who are played by Theo James. Yes. Hal and Bill, I did not realize he was playing twins in this. They witness a string of horrifying deaths around them with this monkey. So they give up the monkey to leave all of it behind and pursue different paths. So it seems like the movie is going to start with them young, and then they're going to grow up, and they obviously have done two different things. It's funny. We also get twins.
So are they the boys at Benihana?
The boys at Benihana.
In the trailer? The boys at Benihana with their mom. Is that them?
It could be. Yikes. It could be.
Okay.
However, more deaths start happening. So the brothers have to reconcile. So they must have like had a fallout when they were adults and find out what's going on with this monkey and these murders. So it's given like one of them like this fingers falling off or something in the trailer? Did you
No,
see
it was
that?
in his mouth. It was somebody's finger was in his mouth. And he
Ew,
was
okay.
spitting it out.
There
Yes.
was a piece of finger, and then he's holding. I was like, did his finger fall off?
A woman's finger because it had fingernail polish
Oh,
on it.
Yeah.
So.
The deaths in this look like they're going to be horrific.
It looks like Final Destination style death. So let's do the cast list first.
Yes. Go
So
ahead.
this is going to star Theo James playing twins, like you said.
Yep.
I'm like the Sinners. Twins are
I
coming
was just
back.
about to say, I was like, oh, this reminded me of Michael B. Jordan in Sinners.
Tatiana Maslany, who we love as
As
She-Hulk. Elijah Wood, who we love in Lord of the Rings. Ron Campbell, Sarah Levy, and Colin O'Brien. I think Colin O'Brien is going to play. Oh, Colin O'Brien is the only child actor listed on the cast list. So I think Colin O'Brien plays
the
both boys
youngs.
at Benihana.
Okay.
I'm just calling it Benihana because it looks like Benihana.
Okay. He probably plays the twins when they were younger. Okay. That makes sense.
So, like you were saying, the deaths look crazy because it looks like the monkey is causing these supernatural Final Destination style deaths. And when we say Final Destination style, we mean like they're like weird freak accidents that cover themselves up.
Yeah.
Too, because like in Final Destination, it'll always cause like a water spill that causes like a freak accident, and the water will like suck itself back up or something
Yeah.
weird.
The deaths don't look staged. They almost look like not happy accident. Sorry. They look like they just happened to be an accident. You're just like, oh my God, that's weird. But apparently these boys know this monkey is causing some trouble.
So do you have any theories?
The monkey
one.
is the devil.
I have one, and I
Okay.
think the monkey is the dad.
Oh, like they lose their dad when they're young or something.
I think maybe the dad, because he's passed. So I think maybe he cursed it. He cursed the toy.
Okay.
And the voiceover we get in the trailer is that the monkey punishes people who deserve it, who don't deserve it, and people are in between.
Yeah.
So maybe the monkey is like carrying out some type of like revenge.
Yeah, I was going devil, like literally
Or it could be the devil because it's Oscar Perkins.
inside the monkey.
Yeah.
Just like it wasn't long legs. That seems too straightforward though.
It looks like it's going to be a little bit more fun than Long Legs.
It does have a lighthearted element. I don't know what you
which
call
is,
it.
Which is weird
All
to
these
say.
people dying.
Yeah.
It
It's
does
weird
have-
to say.
It does have like a kind of like, haha, it's going to be some dark humor. There it is.
Yeah.
Dark, black comedy.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it was the devil.
Yeah, I mean, neither.
Yeah. I mean, it worked. It worked
This
in Long
monkey
Legs.
looks awful. So, yes,
The monkey looks creepy.
very creepy.
Absolutely.
I
So
don't like it.
super interested to see this. We saw Long Legs.
We did.
Please go watch that episode if you have not, or stream that episode. We
Yeah.
loved it.
It's
I was
spooky
good.
season, so you can go watch it on streaming now too.
Spooky season. I just watched it maybe like 4 days ago.
You've watched it again?
I didn't get all the way through it. I got to the part where she went to go see her mom again for the first time. But it's
Oh.
good. I like
I
Long
didn't say
Legs.
it was bad. It's just, it's the devil.
I like horror movies that are mysteries. So
Yeah, creepy mysteries, clearly.
it is creepy.
It's a very
So-
creepy
And
movie.
I did say I wanted to, and I'm not succeeding, but I wanted to rewatch it to see
all the different times.
all the different times the devil popped up, and
You keep missing them?
I think I keep missing him, so I'm gonna have to watch it. People say he's like pops up like 41 times, so I think I just need to watch a YouTube breakdown.
I don't think he was in there that much, but he definitely was in there like 4 or 5
I
times.
still only saw him the same amount of times I saw him the first
Okay.
time. So
Your eye, you need to be like, you got to look at the other parts of the screen.
I'm not paying
like,
attention to like the corners.
doo-doo-doo. Yeah, he in
So
there.
we're absolutely gonna go see this.
Yeah.
Last stop on the trailer park is for another Netflix movie, but this one does look interesting. So this is for a movie called Carry On. This comes out on Netflix December 13th, straight to streaming. It is going to star Taron Egerton, who we know from
Kingsman movies.
Absolutely. Danielle Deadweiler,
Parallel.
which we reviewed on
Harder
this
They Fall.
podcast as well. She was really good in both of those films.
And she's going to be in an upcoming movie, Piano Lessons.
Yes.
Oh, and Teal. I'm
What's
like
Teal?
running her whole, the Emmett Till. Where
Oh,
she,
yes. She was in Till, yes.
Yep.
And Jason Bateman, who we haven't reviewed any of his movies on the podcast before, but Jason Bateman is, he's an acting legend. He's been around for a very long
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Was he in oh, he must be the bad guy in this. Is he the bad guy?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
There it is.
let's go over the synopsis.
I was like, who is he?
So the synopsis of the movie is that a TSA agent, who's Taron Egerton, is blackmailed into letting a dangerous package slip through security on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So as soon as I watched the trailer, as soon as the trailer started, I was like, this is the phone booth.
That you didn't give it a few seconds.
No. As soon
It
as
gives phone booth.
as the first phone call, it sounds like Jason Bateman is doing his best Kiefer Sutherland impersonation.
Okay.
So it looked.
Yeah.
It's basically the phone booth. Jason Bateman plays the bad guy.
Except we're in the airport this
He's
time.
blackmailing Taron Egerton to let dangerous materials through TSA.
But we don't know why just yet.
We don't know why. It looks like Taron Egerton goes through with it because he's being blackmailed, but he's also going to, at the same time, try to stop it.
Correct.
And we also have Danielle Deadwyler, who it seems like she might be like an air marshal or a detective.
Yeah, something. She's somebody official.
Yeah, they might have different names for when they just work at the airport.
I don't know.
But she's
U.S. Marshal?
Yes, she's some type of police.
Yeah.
And it looks like she's going to be probably caught between stopping Taron Egerton and
She's going to be
Jason
Forrest
Bateman.
Whitaker.
She is going to be oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, we figured it out.
Yeah. So
Figured it out.
it looks good.
It looks interesting.
And I say that because we just watched Phone Booth.
We did not. Where was we at? Watching?
We were in San Diego.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We was in some hotel.
We were in
killing
Comic-Con
time.
killing time watching Phone Booth in a
Watching
hotel
Phone
room.
Booth. Yeah.
So
Because we was like, what happens next? And we was like, oh yeah, that's what happens next. Mm-hmm.
forgot Phone Booth was good.
pretty good
I hadn't
movie.
seen it in a very, very long time. It was like one of Colin Farrell's first big movies.
I have not seen purposely watched it in a very long time.
Yeah, so it looks good. It looks like it's going to be action packed. It is Netflix, so I mean,
It'll be cool.
tempered expectations.
I was gonna say it'll be fine.
But
Afternoon watch.
it looks better than Red Notice.
Heck yeah.
And it looks better than that other Gal Gadot movie,
the other one I don't like.
the one that we reviewed on this podcast as well,
That I can't remember.
which is
Seahawk. Nope. It was her last name.
Heart of Stone.
There it is. I about to say Last Woman Standing. That wasn't it.
Nope, you were close.
Because her last name was Stone, right?
This looks interesting. Looks like high octane. I do like a thriller, and I support Danielle Deadwyler and things.
Heck yeah.
So, and her name should have been in the trailer.
That's the one thing I ain't like.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that when they announced it, they listed Danielle Deadwyler as starring, but then when they
rolled the names
in the trailer, her name did not appear.
I didn't like that. Y'all need
I
to
didn't like that. So
fix it,
you need to
Netflix.
respect Danielle Deadwyler.
She's in the piano lesson, which is also going to be on Netflix.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to fix it. Fix it right now.
Yeah, if she has more screen time than somebody else who is in the credits, then
Sophia
there's
Carson, who, by the way,
Danielle Deadwyler should have been in the credits.
ain't no shade to
No shade
Sophia
to Sophia.
Carson because I had to look her up. I was like, I know that girl. I'm watching all the Descendant movies with my BFF right now, and that's the same girl. But Danielle Deadwyler name needs to be in this trailer.
So that is the last stop on the trailer park. Glad to be back. We didn't get to stop at the trailer park last episode.
It's almost full vacancy almost.
Let's dive into this bunch crunch.
All right, first up, we got a picture of Krypto, who's going to be in the upcoming Superman movie, and everybody lost their minds.
They did.
I didn't understand. Did I miss why?
So
Why was people mad?
It was.
It's a dog.
It's a split. It's there are people in the middle who are happy, who are sane.
Okay. Some people saying they only gonna see it because the dog is in the movie. I was like, but it's not a Superman.
There are the people who are the Snyder purists feel like Superman should not have things in his life that bring him joy.
But Krypto is like a
Krypto is too bright and sunny for Superman. That's why.
This is clearly going to be a different type of Superman.
And there are people who are just mad because they don't like the type of dog it is. Which, I mean, it's a superhero dog.
It looks like the dog from the comics. Like
it's just a white dog.
They should be happy. It's like a wiry haired dog.
I think the
Why are we upset?
I think how Krypto is usually depicted in comics is like he's like a white haired golden retriever, and this one looks more like some type of doodle. It's got like a curly hair pattern.
A little bit.
People
I thought it was just like it looked like Toto.
Yeah, people are upset because of the type of dog it is, which is weird. It's a comic book.
It could be a Rottweiler. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's a comic book movie. They change things all the time.
Yeah.
He already said that the dog's not gonna talk, which fine, sure. That would be weird, I think, anyway. But people were really losing their mind about this dog in this movie. And I was like, I thought we already knew that the dog was gonna be in the movie.
So I think this is I think what's gonna be funny is when the movie comes out because I think
and the dog gonna be in it for 5 minutes.
Have you seen the leaks of him saving the squirrel?
No.
Have you seen the leaks of the squirrel in the box?
No.
On the set?
I missed that.
Oh, you missed that.
I did?
There's a comic book character.
Okay.
Named Chip.
Okay.
Spelled CH''P.
CH''P. Okay.
And he is a superhero.
It was a chipmunk.
And he's a
squirrel,
not a chipmunk. He's a squirrel.
A character named Chip who's a squirrel.
Mm-hmm. And guess who Chip is?
Like.
Guess what Chip's powers are?
To transform into a dog?
No, Chip is a lantern.
Oh.
So I think it's very interesting that people are all riled up about him having a dog when we're going to get a squirrel Green Lantern in this movie.
Is he stay in squirrel form?
Yeah, he stays. I can show you. He's a
like,
squirrel in a Green Lantern suit with a ring.
Is he like, so he's like a frog Thor or frog Loki?
Yes.
Okay.
And his name is Chip. And there's been leaked set photos of them carrying around a squirrel in like this glass case.
There's so many people in this movie.
So I do think that Chip might make a surprise appearance in this movie.
Okay.
If you don't know who Chip is, we'll put an image up on this episode. But it's funny, and I think there's going to be a lot more animals in this movie.
There's so many. This cast list, including the animals, is going to be like a CPS receipt because it's so. I was like, y'all tripping about a dog. And there are 15 other characters in this movie. Y'all relax.
And people love dogs. People love seeing dogs in movies. Krypto has the same powers as Superman. He's indestructible, which means he's in no danger throughout this whole film.
Good.
So,
I don't want the dog to get hurt in no movie.
So you don't even have to go to doesthedogdie.com before you go see this movie.
I just didn't realize people were so caught up in their feelings about a dog being in a movie where there's 12,000 other humans on the cast list.
I'm fine with it.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm very middle of the road about Superman, the character in general. Like,
I'm excited for this movie though.
Okay,
to
good.
see it because it looks. I'm excited to see this different direction for Superman.
Sure.
Yes.
I'm still somebody. I'm not a Snyder person, but I still would have liked to see Henry Cavill do a Superman 2. We are long past that. It is over. It is done. It is 6 feet under the ground.
Henry Cavill's Voltron now.
There's a new movie coming out, y'all. Just enjoy what's about to come. It's crazy.
One day we'll never have superhero movies again.
Yeah, right.
Because you've all ruined it.
Please.
No, please.
Cha-ching.
Next piece of crunch is Invincible Season 3 premieres on February 6, 2025 on Prime.
I need to finish season 2.
The best part about this news is that they said they're not doing a mid-season break anymore.
Oh,
I tweeted them.
We've learned our lesson.
And I said, oh, so y'all learned after y'all took that break and X-Men 97 came in there and ate y'all lunch while y'all was on hiatus.
That break. First of all, mid-season breaks are stupid. I don't care
dumb.
what show it is, live action, animated, it don't matter.
I don't need a break from TV.
I just want to watch it for a week.
I can just turn it off if I want to take a break from watching something.
Just catch up
you
later.
You don't have to stop making stuff.
Dumb. Whoever thought of it, dumb. Also, I still need to watch season 2 because literally after that break, I lost all
After
interest.
the mid-season break,
I lost all interest.
So many people fell off because X-Men 97 was weekly, didn't break.
And it was very good.
And it was very good.
Like, excellent.
Yeah, it was very good. And I think it attracted, like, it was alternative broadcasting because it wasn't as violent and graphic.
Nearly.
So.
Well, yeah, no. It was no blood.
And also, the break caused Invincible to make a lot less noise online.
Yeah, and Invincible's not bad. Like,
no.
The first season, I think we took a little for us to warm up to, but the rest of it, good.
I loved the best parts about the last season of Invincible to me were the scenes with Mark and his mom, the family dynamic, and having to deal with the new brother,
right?
And Cecil.
Season 2 of what we saw was also good, but then it went on break, and I was like, I've lost interest. So I probably will finish season 2 before season 3 comes out. Mm-hmm. And they just need to drop it all at once.
Yes, good for them for no longer doing a break. But I do think they're still just going to do weekly.
Nope.
They're not doing like a binge,
that.
Unfortunately.
Y'all start just all at once, y'all.
They got to keep the churn low.
Listen, okay. And it's Amazon. Nobody's unchurning from that. Anywho.
You going to cancel your Prime?
No,
right.
not for no. I will if they do another break for Invincible. How about that?
Next scoop of crunch is we're getting a live action. Let's be quick on this one. We're getting a live action Viewmaster toy movie.
Why?
At
Next.
Sony. Why Sony? Shouldn't y'all be making a Null movie?
Shouldn't they just give all their rights to everything back to the people they got them from and move on?
Viewmaster movie?
It's going to be a horror. Just make it a horror movie. Make it cheesy.
Okay, you know what?
And let's move on
with
our lives.
Viewmaster horror movie would be interesting.
And if it turns into a horror movie, I better get credit.
Dumb, but interesting.
It could be like the Cocaine Bear. Dumb horror movie.
I don't want to encourage that.
I mean, you want this instead? You want a real Viewmaster movie?
Neither.
Exactly.
I want Sony to stop. I want Sony to take a break. Sony needs a mid-season break.
They about to be like Lionsgate. They keep playing around.
Oh, God. Oh, speaking of which, Blumhouse is joining the Lionsgate wave as well. Did you see that?
About the AI?
Yeah.
People was not happy Look, I ain't never seen so many quote tweets of somebody getting I almost want to be like, they killing you in the quote tweets, Jason.
Horror movie fans are passionate, so if you betray them,
it did not go over well. So to give a summary, Blumhouse is joining up with Meta's AI film creator to make like new movies, and people were not happy.
And I think the Lionsgate thing is they're using the AI to develop like pitches for films, like to develop synopsises.
And then we got James Cameron talking about he's on the board for some AI thing for film. I'm just like, this is not about to be Skynet. I don't care what y'all think. It's not happening.
And the irony. The Skynet uprising, and James Cameron is just completely switching sides.
They was not happy about that either. I was like, I want y'all to make sure y'all bring this back up when the next Avatar come out. That's all.
Next scoop of crunch is we have another Lord of the Rings film in the works. So this is going to be a different film than the Gollum film that was announced a while ago, because
they should have kept this one in the back pocket.
Gollum the Hunt for Gollum movie that was announced was originally supposed to be a two-parter.
Yeah. Well, what happened was, I think Ian McKellen said it was going to be a two-parter, and they had to come out and say that's not actually correct. No. We don't know where he got that from.
Well, I'm not going to blame Ian McKellen for that, because
me neither.
They keep putting him on green screen sets and causing him to have nervous breakdowns, so he doesn't know what's going on in these
He was like, I
films
can
anymore.
make it if y'all pay me.
Right.
Y'all
so
pay me back.
The Hunt for Gollum movie is going to be a separate movie. That's going to be an Andy Serkis prequel.
Yes.
And then we're going to get another Lord of the Rings film. Are we sure where this is going to be placed in the timeline?
Nope.
Hopefully after. Let's do after.
Sure.
We've got enough prequel. We have Ring of Power prequel happening right now.
Yeah.
Gollum's a prequel.
We had the Hobbit.
Yes.
Trilogy.
So let's
yeah, you're right.
Let's find out what happened after Aragorn.
Yeah.
Became the king of Minas Tirith.
Right.
Yeah.
They should have waited until Hunt for Gollum came out and saw how that did before we announcing another movie.
Oh, and I forgot they still have the War of the Rohirrim coming out.
How about you promote that?
It's a prequel.
How about you promote that?
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
That's coming out like in 2 months.
Yeah, and I like the trailer for that, but the animation style kind of betrayed me. I thought it was going to be something else.
Yeah,
yeah.
That I'm very curious how that's going to do. Just period.
But I love Lord of the Rings stuff.
Sure.
Like when I talk about war movies, it's like
I got the box set.
That's my keystone for that.
I bought the extended version box set on Blu-ray at the last Amazon Prime sale. So I'm a fan, but do it right.
I mean, we mentioned Two Towers earlier. Lord of the Rings is just great. Those films are great.
And I feel like they're trying to recapture the magic of the first trilogy, and they're never going to get that.
Sidebar: shout out to Rings of Power for killing the streaming charts.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the original charts after y'all dogged the first season and said it was so bad nobody would watch it because it was like a woman-led cast and had people of color, and now it's being watched more than anything.
I hope that anybody who was bashing on the first season has moldy bread for a month.
Yeah, so
y'all was real mean about that show for no reason.
Yeah, so you can
like it.
While everybody's watching Rings of Power, you and your 5 friends can watch The Penguin. Yeah. No, I like The Penguin.
Penguin's good.
But stop trashing Rings of Power. Rings of Power is
trashing
good.
One show for the sake of another show. How about that?
Next scoop of crunch. We have another Disney movie being announced. We're getting a Prince Charming movie.
Yeah, so Prince Charming, we don't know if it's going to be live action or animated, but it looks like they're doing well, we don't know yet.
We don't know.
It will come from the director, Paul King, who did Wonka and Paddington. So we already got some good behind the scenes people going on. The rumor is, we don't know how what do you want to say, firm this rumor is.
They should just do it.
Chris Hemsworth is supposedly in talks to play Prince Charming.
Yeah.
Now, when this was first announced, the rumor was announced later. I was like, this could work. It's not a remake. It's not a requel. It's an original story about Prince Charming doing what? I don't know. But if we gonna take it where we have an older actor playing it, like Chris Hemsworth, because at first I was like, is this gonna be like a teen?
Yeah, because usually Prince Charming is like in his 20s.
Right, because all the princesses are like in their 20s. But if we're gonna do like an older, aged up Prince Charming who's like been through some things and having like a retrospective on life.
So you were about to say something.
What?
Which you were about to say what we thought the movie is going to be. But
yeah,
go ahead and say what we were discussing what this movie should be.
It should be like, I can't think of the name of what the
Enchanted?
movie. Yes. If it's like an Enchanted type movie, I'm here for that.
Enchanted worked 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was a really good movie.
Yeah.
Patrick Dempsey played there wasn't really, he was not Prince Charming.
Okay.
He was like
her love interest though.
He was Amy Adams' real world love interest.
Okay.
But she played an older princess.
Yes.
She wasn't like a teenager or somebody in her 20s. She played like an older princess who was looking for love. And it was funny because she had to like deal with being an adult, deal with being in the real world.
That's what, like, if we go for that angle, now what I don't want it to be is, I don't want it to be the male Barbie. Like, let's not do that.
No.
But let's, like, Chris Hemsworth has really good comedic timing. He can be funny. So I'm down for that.
He was really funny in he's funny in everything. He's funny in Thor. He's really funny in Ghostbusters. He was even funny in Furiosa.
Yeah.
He had a lot of scenes of comedic timing, even though he was insane in that movie.
He's a good pick if the angle they're going for is like we described, like what is the name of the movie again? I forgot that fast.
Enchanted.
If it's like an Enchanted, I can see this and I'm on board. Now, if it's something different and it's like a melodrama, I'm checking out.
I do hope it's like, it's a Disney movie, so it's going to be family. But I do hope it's like a family adult comedy. We get an older Prince Charming who's like maybe post-divorce.
Something.
The princess has left him and he's like looking for love elsewhere.
Right. Like, don't copy Enchanted and like word for word or like, scene for scene, but something like that would be pretty. Also, don't make it a musical. And
it's Disney. You show Chris Hemsworth already there all the time. So just go ahead and slide him into that.
Slide him from the Thor 5 set. Wink, wink.
Right.
Wink.
Exactly. Film simultaneously.
Hello. Just bring his family on over.
Next scoop of crunch we have is first reactions to Gladiator II are overwhelmingly positive, which I found surprising.
You did. I don't care what the reviews would have been. We're seeing Gladiator 2 regardless. But they showed a screening this past weekend, like a early, I think, I won't call it a fan screening. I think like critics and whatnot got to see it.
Was it at New York Comic Con?
I don't know.
Or was it separate?
I think it might have been separate.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. Cool. But I think like critics and whatnot got to see it. So they lifted the social media embargo a month and a half early before the movie came out.
Because it was so good.
Because they wanted people to start. And this is going to drum up like ticket sales because tickets are now on sale to buy it. And people were, I saw a couple people that were like unnecessary, but the action was good. And I saw a couple people saying that the plot was all over the place. Like, I don't care.
Right.
It's fine. We got all these people in this movie. We got Denzel. Somebody said Denzel about to get another Oscar nom. I'm like, check. So I'm very excited about this.
So, yeah, I was surprised that the reactions were surprisingly positive. It seemed like a lot of people were surprised that Gladiator 2 turned out to be good. And I feel like that's weird because the first Gladiator was like
legendary.
His best work to me.
Yeah.
And it won the Oscar.
Yeah.
So, and this movie seems like it's basically a requel. So it seems like it's just more of the same Gladiator,
which I will take.
Updated with more action.
Yes.
Well, and they have the ability to do more now.
Right. And he probably has way more of a budget.
Yeah. So I don't even think about Gladiator 2 because I know it's going to be a good movie. So I just don't, I put it so far out of my mind because I know I'm absolutely going to see it and I don't have to worry about it being good or bad. It's going to be great because it's Gladiator.
It could be middle of the road and I'm just going to be like, yes.
The trailers are great. Like the trailers look so good for this movie.
What's funny is, I think we've said this a couple times. This comes out the same weekend as Wicked. So people are already trying to think of like that weekend name. I've seen Wickednator. Somebody called it Galactic.
I don't think it's working.
Gladiator. No, yeah. It don't roll off the tongue like Barbenheimer.
What I will say, because I forgot they came out the same weekend.
Yep.
What I will say is Wicked should start screening early too then. Because
they do early? No, I think the tickets are just on sale right now.
Because now that the screening has happened and the reviews are out.
Yeah.
And they're going to be ramping up how everybody has loved this movie for a month.
Yeah.
They're
counter programming, you don't think?
I think that, I definitely think Wicked should just go ahead and do a screening and get those reviews out.
But Wicked is doing good for pre-sales.
So it is doing really, really good for pre-sales.
So people,
and people already know.
Yeah.
I guess you know what you're getting with Wicked.
True.
It's an adaptation. So
True.
Which is going to be longer?
That's a good question. Wicked's like 5 hours,
they both
and Gladiator's probably also like 5 hours. So let me check real quick.
5 hours.
Listen, Wicked's at least 2. hours and 30 something minutes. Hold on, I'll look up Gladiator. Gladiator is going to be we might not know yet.
We don't have a runtime?
That might be keeping that in the deck. Let's see.
Oh, that means it's probably long.
I mean, 2 hours and 28 minutes for Gladiator 2.
Okay, Wicked is 2 hours and 40 minutes. So
Wicked's gonna beat it.
Longest
by 12
crack
minutes.
for both, but
Okay.
Wicked is gonna be longer.
Yeah,
Probably might feel a little bit longer because of the singing.
probably. Now, are we watching Wicked?
We should probably just do the double feature.
On the same.
We missed the Barbenheimer.
Also,
wave.
this is also a Thanksgiving weekend, by the way. Just letting you know. Yeah, I mean we can do it. I'm just letting you know the logistics of that.
You don't want to see it?
Wicked, I'm not sold on, to be very honest. I don't like musicals.
So I'm gonna go back to my statement. Wicked need to go ahead and do them screenings and get those reviews out.
So people like me, just like I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely seeing Gladiator, but Wicked, we can go see Wicked. But I will be honest that I'm not enthused to go see it.
Cheryl's being an accurate depiction of the audience
listen,
of the movie of the average moviegoer.
Now we see other movies that we kind of already know we're gonna be like about. So I will see Wicked,
right.
But I'm not like excited like I am about Gladiator.
Yeah. So, and I mean, that's unfair because Gladiator is like your favorite movie of all time. So
that's not
I
not
don't
my
feel like
fault.
that's a fair comparison.
It's not my fault. It's my favorite movie. That's
Next
Ridley
scoop of
Scott's
crunch.
fault.
Next scoop of crunch. Luca Guadagnino is set to direct, or is reportedly, this hasn't been officially confirmed by any studio, but reportedly set to direct the new American Psycho film.
Now, what I did not know is that the American Psycho film with Christian Bale was very different from the book.
I did not know there was a book.
Yes, it is based on a book, and somebody pointed out, because people are always like, why are we redoing this? Why are we redoing this? Somebody pointed out that he wants to adapt the novel but not remake the movie. So we could be getting two different American Psycho movies.
And that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like he would, a director of his stature would want to make his own version, not do a requel of a movie that's already out.
So this is going to be, like we said, reportedly directed by Luca Guadagnino. Mm-hmm. He just did Challengers. Yep. Which he did pretty well. Mm-hmm. Call Me By Your Name, Bones and All, which I saw.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
I didn't see Suspiria, the remake that he made.
I don't know.
But Mia Goth was in it, so I might actually look at that. But he's a well-known Italian director. Mm-hmm. He's had some bangers in the last couple of years. He's also currently doing that Daniel Craig movie.
Yes.
The queer movie.
Yes. Which is, I think, gotten really good reviews too.
Yeah, that just finished like the film festival circuit as well. So I trust him for this film. Sure. American Psycho, I'm glad they're not redoing the movie because American Psycho, which I also rewatched like a couple within the past like 2 months, I think, still holds up.
Okay.
As far as the whole message of being a white guy in corporate America and be able to do literally whatever you want and getting away with it.
Still happening.
Yeah. It's the message is still clear and effective. And Christian Bale was still good in it.
People post clips of Christian Bale, like different parts of him in that movie all the time.
It's so memeable.
I literally I probably saw one more recently because of this announcement, but you're right. So it's still a cult classic, if I'm not mistaken.
It is bonkers. You've seen American Psycho. You haven't?
We talked about this. I need to watch it.
You need to, but I constantly think there's a sequence in it towards the end when he's like completely deteriorating and losing his mind, and he tries to like put a cat in an ATM machine, and you're not sure whether it actually happened or whether he's like losing it and just hallucinating it. But it's once you see it, I need you to tell me that
I'm gonna put it on my watch list.
It's so good. Next scoop of crunch is we are getting a Detective Pikachu sequel, which I was just randomly thinking about the other day. Like why? Because we were just talking about Rugrats. We were just talking about Rugrats, and we were talking about taking cartoon characters
and putting them
into CGI. And we were like, and we were talking about Sonic and how the first renderings and Flounder from Little Mermaid
didn't look good.
How the first renderings of the CGI characters always look scary. Yeah. That did not happen with Detective Pikachu.
They got Pikachu right on the first go.
All of the Pokemon, I feel like, in the Detective Pikachu movie were good.
That movie was just okay.
The movie was okay because there wasn't much there.
Nah.
But
the CGI of the animals was actually done pretty good.
Yeah, I loved the effects in Detective Pikachu.
He was
and
like
when they
fluffy or something?
they were furry.
Yeah, they had like
A lot
fur.
of them
It
had
wasn't
fur.
just skin.
Yeah, because in the cartoons they kind of just look like smooth.
Right, because they're just animated.
I like how they gave all of them like fur and hair and texture and stuff.
You're right.
I was glad that they announced this because I was like, oh, we were just talking about movies and bad first CGI.
I'm surprised they're giving it a sequel because I don't remember it doing gangbusters at the box office. But
I'm glad they're giving it a sequel because I want them to do more.
Okay.
There's so much more you can do with Pikachu.
I mean,
with not just Pikachu, with
Pokemon,
just Pokemon.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. It was a fine movie.
It was a fine
pretty
movie.
good. Yeah.
Justice Smith was good in it.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds was in it.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was in this movie?
His name that I'm forgetting from Dungeons and Dragons.
We have Bill Nye. No, was he in Dungeons and Dragons?
No, that's not him. That's not who I was talking about. Justice Smith. Did you already say Justice Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's who I was thinking of. Sorry.
Oh, yes. So Justice Smith and Catherine Newton was the lead actress.
Yes.
She was the other Pokemon detective.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was cute. It was cute. It didn't seem to drum up a lot of stir.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised it's getting a sequel.
And I like Catherine Newton. She's been in a lot of good stuff that I like. So
speaking of, she's in Abigail.
Yes. And last scoop of crunch is Daredevil Born Again finally gets a premiere date of March 4, 2025.
Which means they about to promote the heck up out of it. I wonder if the promotion is going to be like Agatha, like the levels of promotion.
I'm surprised I haven't seen anything or heard anything yet at New York Comic Con. This is the last con. Well, you know what? CCXP.
Oh, okay.
And they do the big stuff.
And Disney D23 in Brazil is next month.
We have to go to Brazil, man. They do the best stuff for CCXP and the Brazil stuff.
Yeah, so Disney plus Brazil, or D23, sorry, not Disney plus. D23 Brazil is, I think, next month.
So we don't have another trailer yet, or any trailer at all yet.
You know what? It's going to be like Agatha. We'll be like, I don't want to see another promo.
Yeah, you're right. They're going to go overboard with the promo.
We're going to be like, just show the show already. My God.
Maybe Echo will show up.
Maybe.
I would like to see her.
Sure.
Yeah.
I thought they said No, they didn't say she was going to be in it. But that would be nice if she was.
We don't know who's going to be in it.
No. Outside of the leaked photos that everybody been taking from the set.
So that is the last scoop of crunch, movie news, and our visit to the trailer park. We are going to take a short break, see what Lilu is tearing up, and then we are going to get into our movie review of the week. Abigail.
Don't get a puppy, y'all. I'm just This week we watched Abigail, which was released April 19th, 2024. So not that old. It was directed by Matt Betlanini Oplin and Tyler Gillett. I hope I got y'all names right.
I think it's Bettinelli.
Jay always.
That's okay.
I don't know. I'm not very good with pronouncing names.
Radio Silence. That's why they call themselves Radio Silence.
Hello, the duo is a part of a production company better known as Radio Silence. I should have just said Radio Silence. Cast and characters of this movie include. Hold on, let me get my wiki page up because I always forget to have it up beforehand. A pretty sizable cast, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Melissa Barrera, Dan Stevens, Alicia Weir.
I think it's Weir.
Okay, Alicia Weir, Will Callett, Catherine Newton, Kevin Durant, Angus Cloud, Giancarlo Esposito, and they did put him on. Okay, Matthew Gold. Good. Goday. Good.
Yes.
Matthew Good. Now, this is everybody's name because everybody's name is not exactly important, but those are the people that are in the movie. The characters don't go by their real names. They go by like pseudonyms in the movie because they're kidnappers. Anywho, runtime is 1 hour and 59 minutes, so pretty nice, sweet, and to the point.
Perfect for a horror film.
It was. It moved. The pacing was pretty good, and it didn't feel like it was dragging. Budget of $28 million, not too shabby, and the box office was $42.4 million, so not great. No. Normally you want like 2.5 times your budget, but this movie, I will admit, this movie did kind of come and go.
It did.
I don't remember what else came out around this time, but it was definitely kind of like here and then gone. And then I think it might have been maybe in the mix of some other horror movies that might have come out at that time.
Oh, well, April movies would have been Civil War, Wish,
Okay.
Monkey Man.
All right.
It was surrounded by a lot of
stuff that probably had better marketing.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess. Okay. Cinema score was a B, which is not bad for horror. And then the audience score for Rotten Tomatoes was an 84. Critics for Rotten Tomatoes was an 83. So that might give you a good gauge on how this movie was.
Okay.
Do you want to give us the plot?
Sure.
Of
So
Abigail?
The plot of Abigail is that we have a Rat Pack group of criminals.
Ragtag team.
Who all have various sets of skills.
Yeah.
Who have been hired by Giancarlo Esposito to kidnap a girl.
Yep.
For ransom. And they are supposed to just watch her for 24 hours while Giancarlo Esposito does his ransom stuff.
Yep.
But come to find out, the girl that they have kidnapped is a vampire, and they've been set up because they are locked in the house with her.
Now, I will say, a lot of people, when this movie came out, thought that they should have hidden the fact that the girl was a vampire. I agree. I don't know how else they would have marketed this movie.
Yeah, I don't know how else they would have marketed it.
Because it just would have been like a horror movie about a kidnapping a girl. What's the play? But I don't know. There is a twist, I guess, in the movie. Like there's a reveal kind of type scene. But hiding the fact that she was a vampire, I feel like would have made the movie a little more unpredictable.
I think because we knew
we were just waiting on it.
Time just waiting for the scene of her
exactly because you're just looking at the little girl like, so when you about to flip,
right,
and you kind of, at least I did that like the first until she did.
Yeah.
So I can see, but also I don't know how else they would have marketed. So let's talk about our non-spoiler thoughts for the movie.
Okay, so you want to go first or?
Okay, that's a character one. My first note is a character one.
Oh.
It was good.
Okay.
It was the pacing was good. The characters were a little frustrating.
Yes.
That was my biggest, like, as you're going through the movie and the characters are doing things and things are happening to people, you just kind of like, no, why would you do that?
Yeah.
No, why would you? So that was a little frustrating. I will say that I like Melissa Barrera in this. I was about to say most of the acting was good, and I was like, let me back that up because they're about to lie in the next part of this our review. She was good in this. And then I would say my other maybe non-spoiler thought is that anybody could have played Giancarlo Esposito in this. I kind of felt like his character reminded me of Willem Dafoe in Beetlejuice. We were just kind of like,
yeah.
I mean, you here.
And you're a great actor, and we love to see you.
Were you like in the area? Because I don't know why they
could have used him more.
Either used him more, or just get anybody.
Yeah, that's not spoilery to say. No. Giancarlo Esposito is not one of the main characters in this film. So,
no,
even though he is a favorite,
which is probably why the budget was what it was, because they would have had to like cut check.
Fair.
And another non-spoiler thought is that I could tell that the people who directed this also directed Ready or Not, and that's not I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I could be like, I'll wait till we get to like more spoiler parts.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
The people the last two Screams look different from the rest of those.
Yes.
Yeah, they have a look to them.
A look, a feel, a plot, like how things get revealed and the endings.
They feel modern.
The endings are very similar in all their movies. Well, I was going to say the female heroine of a movie and how she is displayed and depicted at the end of a movie not in a bad way. Oh,
yeah.
But they all feel similar. Like
they do good final girls.
Okay, there it is. Final girl. That's what I should have said.
Yeah.
There's a final girl theme in their movie that kind of, you're like, okay, this is a radio silence movie, which is not a bad thing, but that's something I noticed.
I also heard that they might be doing another movie with Melissa Barrera as well.
Sure.
So
why not?
They have a final girl thing. I appreciate that.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I had a couple. So, like you said, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. It's a horror comedy.
It is.
So
if you are not a horror fiend such as myself, this is light horror, you should be able to handle it.
Yeah, non-scary.
No, it's not scary.
I would think more Megan.
It's gory.
It's gory, but not scary.
If you don't like blood, this ain't the movie for you.
It's gory. It's not scary. There are jump scare moments, but they're not scary because they're played for laughs most of the time.
True, and there's not a lot of jump scares.
But it's more along the lines of Megan.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scream.
More bloody. than Megan. A lot more bloody.
God,
Like a lot more bloody.
about a gallon.
But tone-wise, we're thinking like Megan.
Yes. Okay.
Very bloody was my other note, so got that out the way.
Ooh.
I will say the first 40 minutes are a little slow.
Yeah.
First 30 to 40 minutes
But
where...
I think that's because we was waiting.
Yeah, but and I made that note prior to us just making that statement.
Oh,
Where I
okay.
think it's because we were waiting for the scene where she reveals herself to be a vampire, because we knew.
Right.
So it did make because they put that in the marketing
Yeah.
early, it did make the first half of the film seem slow
Right.
until we get to the point when she starts wrecking
Because
shop.
you're like, let's just get to it. Yeah.
You immediately don't feel bad for what's going to happen to any of the characters after the kidnapping scene.
Nah.
No.
Not really.
They aren't like
Good people.
altruistic either. Like they have motives, but
Sure.
they're not like, oh, okay, well, I see why you did that. It's like, well, you wouldn't have to do this if you didn't.
We're just a good person.
If you didn't make such awful decisions in
Yeah.
the beginning.
And that's, you know what, that's interesting. Like, if any of the characters win or if they go, you were just kind of like,
You deserve it.
okay. Sure.
They all deserved it, technically. They
Yeah.
all could have deserved being killed.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'll even be honest. Even Abigail was just kind of like, sure, is she going? Is she not?
right.
I'm cool either way.
And even outside of Abigail being a vampire,
Mhm.
like y'all just kidnapped this girl for ransom. So,
Right.
and Dan Stevens was gonna punch her in the face.
And she-
so,
I mean, even though she's a vampire, she obviously not 12
Right.
or whatever. Like, she's like centuries old, but you still, like, she looked like she's 12.
right.
And y'all was kidding. Now, I will say it doesn't seem like Melissa Barrera's character, where she was Joey, I think,
Yes.
knew that it was a kid, but she didn't like back.
She didn't.
Like back out.
Because she, as soon as Dan Stevens said, "Are you gonna walk?" she continued to go through. And,
Ain't nobody cared it was a kid.
Right. So,
Nobody.
but I did like the fact that you immediately are okay with the fact that any of them could go.
You don't get attached.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get attached to
Keeps
anybody.
it fun, and you don't get attached to anybody.
Light and breezy.
Too much ballet combat for me.
Oh, yes. We agree with that thought.
I get that ballet is like the whole gimmick of the movie because she's a ballet dancing ballerina, but it didn't really serve anything for the plot. I mean, it was a fun little addition to the thing, but what it felt
They
like
did it too much.
it felt, and this was another note, I feel like the movie suffered coming after Megan, because even though Megan was very gimmicky and had the dance sequences and stuff,
Yep.
I feel like
Same thing.
in Abigail they just took it and exaggerated it and stretched it a
I mean,
lot
she's
longer than it
doing like
necessarily
full,
needed to be.
like she fights. She dances when she fights.
Mhm.
There's a couple scenes in the movie where she's doing like solo dancing.
Yeah, like,
You're
girl,
just
punch that
kinda
man.
like-
Why are you pirouetting around him? Like,
And you know, she's a vampire. She's playing a game with our characters, but it's just kind of like, can you do something? Can y'all play charades?
it made
Do
sense.
something else.
It made sense when she was doing ballet fighting when she was chasing them around the house because it was a game to her. But
Okay.
in the third act, non-spoiler, there's a big fight sequence in the third act. It doesn't make sense that she was doing ballet fighting then because, girl, it's time to get serious.
And you know
We're
what?
in
Now
the-
think
we're
about
in
it.
the finale.
Yeah,
Like-
it's just like we done with the gimmick.
Right.
You're obviously a 400 however year old
when
vampire.
it stops being a game to her, the ballet should have stopped for me. But,
Yeah.
I
And
don't
she's
hate
literally
fun.
in ballet gear like the most of all the movie.
Yeah. I thought Alicia Weir was very good.
Okay.
She's Abigail.
Yeah,
She was good. Even from the beginning, it was funny because
How old is she in real life? I'm gonna look it up. Go ahead.
she's a young actress, but she's very good at playing a very mature. Like she's good
15.
at playing a child who's supposed to be like centuries years old.
She's 15 in real life.
Okay.
I would have guessed that she was actually older.
Yeah, I would have guessed that she was like 20 and just small,
Yes,
like
because
Kaylee Spaney or something.
because she does play an 12-year-old who's actually 400 or whatever.
Right.
But she does it really well, so I agree with
She
that.
does it really well. She's a great actress.
She's also a dancer. So,
Good. Well, yeah. Well, okay. So
Yeah.
the ballet, fine.
right.
Melissa Barrera was very good as well, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
She's a good final girl.
She was Matilda.
In the
Matilda
newer one,
musical.
did you ever watch that?
No.
Oh,
But she
well,
was
now you
the
have more motivation to watch it.
She was
Two
a title,
people you like
right?
in it now.
She was the title character of Matilda. Okay, I'm gonna watch it. Now.
So Abigail and Captain Marvel.
No, Captain Marvel. Oh yes.
She's Captain Marvel.
Yes. I was like, what? Yeah.
She is a Captain
Lashana
Marvel.
Lynch.
Yes.
Yep.
So those are all my non-spoiler notes, but
Okay.
I did think it was a fun movie.
I would watch it. I would recommend it. It's a good
It's a spooky, like, I would revisit it in
spooky
spooky season.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I would say, even though you kind of building. I'm glad they didn't drag out the dragging out more than they did.
Yeah.
They definitely cut it at the opportune time, and it gets you back into the movie when things start popping off.
And that's why having a good short runtime helps.
Yes, exactly. I mean, sure, it was a little slower-ish in the beginning, but once they pick up, it picks up.
You did mention while we were watching that it's going to ramp up. You felt like it was going to ramp up. And I will say, after the first killing,
it does.
It ramps up.
Yeah, which makes up for the little slower start in the beginning.
Slow start, yes.
Balances it out. Yin and yang.
All right, so did you have any non-spoiler thoughts? Any additional ones?
Nah, that's about it. I didn't have as many. I didn't get to take as many notes this time, but that's okay.
Okay, so we are moving into our spoiler section in 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's talk about the characters.
All right, so I guess it'll be pretty easy to do because some of these, surprise, some of these characters don't make it.
Yeah, and we don't really get a lot about the characters. We just know who they are and what their skill is.
Let's go bottom up from the wiki page. So we have Matthew Good.
It's just good.
Yeah. Who plays Father / Christophe Lazar. So, surprise, the vampire is the daughter of a vampire.
Right.
We only see him at the end. He's also a crime mob boss, apparently.
Yeah. So
we don't know for how long.
Yeah.
And he was gray from top to bottom. Like literally gray. Face, hair. And I was like, y'all, he looked evil.
Like Interview with the Vampire, Tom Cruise pale.
Why would you bother to do anything with this man, business or otherwise, because he looks like he dead. Mm-hmm. So, but the character is on the screen for 3 seconds. Yeah. 30 seconds.
He only shows up at the end.
Not actually, to be honest, they could have not had him in here and it would have been just fine. Did he need to be in this?
He didn't.
Nope.
No.
Scratched.
Yeah, he didn't have to be in the film.
Didn't add anything to the movie. So anything else on Matthew?
No.
In this All right. Next we have Giancarlo Esposito, and I already kind of spoiled what I was going to say, but I didn't think he needed to be cast in this movie. His character is Lambert, who gets our ragtag team together. Mm-hmm. Come to find out, and we're going to be jumping back and forth because we in spoilers. He is the one who set them up. So he knew what was going to happen.
So he was the one who orchestrated the kidnapping.
Correct. Mm-hmm. So that character was fine. I do think I appreciate this twist at the end a little.
That he was a vampire?
Turns out he's a vampire. He actually works for Abigail. Mm-hmm. And he's the one, and I guess we'll get to this as we talk about each character, but basically Abigail gets them all together because they all done something to wrong her dad. Mm-hmm. And he worked with Dan Stevenson's character in the past. She roped him in, turned into a vampire, and now he has to work for her because he's her pet, essentially, or her butler. I don't know what you want to call the man. Yeah. But he is fed up. At the end of the movie, he reveals he's actually fed up. He wanted to kill Abigail. And I was kind of like, I wasn't really expecting that. It wasn't surprising he was a vampire, but the fact that he was over it I was kind of like, how long you been doing this, Lambert? I thought that was an interesting twist.
I thought it was an interesting twist, but like you said, he didn't have to be in this movie.
They could have cast him.
And even his plan lasted 30 seconds.
Maybe 45.
Because as soon as he revealed himself and then revealed his plan, he was killed.
Yeah.
So he didn't even get to get anywhere in that area.
Giancarlo don't make it out of this.
He didn't get very far.
Surprise. So yeah, you're right. Once we do get his plan, he's literally whacked. So,
but I do like seeing Giancarlo Esposito and things. I did like the fact that he was the one who gave them all of their Rat Pack names.
And he did it pretty quick.
Too, and he's funny. Giancarlo Esposito has great comedic timing.
He gave very good Giancarlo for the time that he was on the screen. Yes, I will give you that. Yep. All right.
Let's talk about Angus Cloud.
Angus Cloud plays our character Dean. So he is the driver of the crew. Unfortunately, least favorite of everybody.
Yeah.
His acting wasn't great. His character was very annoying.
His acting wasn't great. Unfortunately, they gave him a lot of lines. He
was mumbling.
He had
sometimes.
some of the most up until his death.
Yeah.
He had it felt like some of the most dialogue in the film.
And he's
even
just
when he wasn't on screen, he was just talking.
and you just be like, can you shut up?
And he talks so slow.
Oh my, it was like he was high. His character was high the whole movie. Like I don't know why
and it was
they
weird that it seemed like his character was high, but they never like showed him smoking or doing any drugs. But he just seemed like he was just high.
And I didn't get that. I was like, are y'all trying to tell us that he's on something?
Yeah.
It was very weird. Surprise, surprise, his character is the one who gets it first.
Yes.
Like the most annoying character is usually always the one that goes 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So fine, they had a driver who got whacked out. Somebody had to go first. And I was actually happy it was him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
yeah.
Next cast member we have is Kevin Durant, who plays Peter. That's the next character. He is basically the muscle.
Yes.
Of the crew, I guess, that they need muscle to kidnap this.
What did he do?
This exactly, which we'll get to.
I think about it.
We will get to later because I have some notes about that in my likes and dislikes.
What exactly did Peter do? I don't remember now. Go ahead.
So basically, he's just the muscle, but he's also like a giant doofus. I thought it was funny, but he didn't really do much in the film.
He had funny moments, one-liners for sure. But now that you bring up he wasn't do anything, I'm actually trying to think about what he did.
Other than just being there,
getting
kind
hurt,
of didn't really do anything.
Getting jacked up.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, he also don't make it.
I liked his moments with Catherine Newton.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Towards before his demise.
Yes.
Okay.
Next on the list is Catherine Newton.
Speaking of.
She is the character Sammy in this, so she is the hacker of the team.
She's probably my favorite.
I liked her. I really liked her. Catherine Newton was funny.
She was.
She was carefree and very unserious because she was a rich girl and none of this meant anything to her.
She was here for kicks and giggles.
Yeah.
Literally. So I liked her character because I wasn't so they kind of, Melissa Barrera's character reveals, she like reads everybody because she reads people really well. And then she reveals that, so they're giving her, there's a scene in the movie where they're giving Melissa Barrera's character $100 bills to guess, like, can you read me? And Catherine Newton's character, who is Sammy, pulls out $20. And Melissa Barrera's character, who is Joey, says, well, that's rich coming from you, seeing as you're a rich kid. And she's like, oh. So she reads Sammy, and Sammy was like, okay. I mean, she reads it for filth. And Sammy's like, okay.
Very good.
You're really good. I like it. She was just a real good, like, aloof person. I mean, surprise, she also gets it. But I liked her character up until the end.
Yeah, and I like the fact that she was unserious until Abigail revealed herself to be a vampire, and then all of a sudden she wanted to freak out the rest of the movie.
Right. She was like, I actually want out of here, believe it or not. Yeah, I like Sammy.
The next cast member we have is Rickles, who's played by Will Catlett. He is a Marine sniper. Who is the sharpshooter of the team?
Yes, he's the one who sits on a roof and's like got the scope on everybody.
I liked him.
Did you?
That's all I can say.
Okay, I was gonna say
because he was
just
only alive for a little bit.
He is our second kill, I think, of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
He is. The one note that I had was that I wish that Don Rickles I wish we knew how he was involved with Lazar. Because both he and Dean are killed before we get to the reveal that Abigail was the orchestrator of everything. And she basically runs down everybody's involvement with her father. But we never got Rickles' backstory. And he seemed like a good guy. So I'm very interested to see what criminal activities he was up to that had him involved with Lazar.
Right. You're right. We didn't get. So that would have been nice to know. Also, they try to set it up as Joey and Rickles having some sort of like interest in each other. And it's kind of like, y'all are kidnappers.
Yeah.
Why?
Right, and you're not even supposed to know each other's names.
But I guess need a love story.
I guess all bets were off when they realized it was a vampire, and there may not be any money.
Sure. Okay, sure. But Rickles was here and then he was gone, so ain't really much to say about Rickles, to be honest with you.
Not much to say, but I did enjoy his character for the moment. He didn't do anything offensive.
He didn't. He was he died. His death was kind of like blech. But actually everybody's death was kind of like blech.
Alicia Weir is the titular character Abigail, and I really liked her.
Her acting was very good. Outside of the dancing, which isn't the fault of like the character, that's just how they wrote her. She was really good.
Yeah.
She played a good sassy. She played a good sassy childlike vampire who was actually 400.
Yeah, her lines were very good.
Yeah.
When she revealed herself, and Melissa Barrera said, "You're really good. I pretend to be a little girl." She said, "I had a few centuries of practice."
That was funny.
I like that.
But before she is a vampire, or before she reveals herself to be a vampire, she plays a really good, like, I'm scared,
yes,
innocent
regular girl.
child who, like, doesn't want to be hurt. And, like, she laid it on thick.
She's
thick.
It's funny because she's a very good actress playing like a child who has to be like adult because they have an absentee father.
Right.
So the opening of the movie is her doing it seems like practicing at a
she's doing Swan Lake apparently.
Yeah, so she's I guess practicing at a theater because there's nobody there.
No, it's dark.
But she walks outside. She gets picked up like
That's why it was dark. She's a vampire.
Oh, that's why nobody was there.
Because she's coming out and it's nighttime, and it's like, why are you practicing this in the night? Okay.
Radio silence.
Okay.
Fine.
We're piecing it as we're thinking about it.
I like the fact that she's good at playing like a child who has to grow up faster than they should because she has to take herself home with the driver. She gets in the house. She's the only person there.
Yep.
She immediately like gets on the phone, picks up a book, starts looking at her schedule. I'm like, this is me. This is me coming home from work.
Yeah. So she does a very good job of, we know she's a vampire. So it's kind of funny that they're going through all this because the audience already knows she's a vampire, but she does a good job of playing like a girl who has to raise herself.
She's really good at scared when they are doing the kidnapping or Dan Stevens is like threatening her and she's like crying and she's really like really
thick,
landed on thick
yes
as like a regular little girl in the movie. And I thought she did a really good job. And even though I feel like it was a lot of ballet, her ballet sequences where she was like just dancing weren't bad.
Just long.
I like the scene after she killed Dean and they tried to kill her and she was dancing with his headless body.
That was creepy.
And they run in and they're like gonna kill her. And she knows that they can't kill her. So she like drops his body. She's like, no, wait, let's talk about it.
Right.
And it's like, girl, you're gonna murder them.
Right. I mean, she literally says she's playing a game several times, but she going through the whole act.
Yeah.
So one thing I didn't mention in non-spoiler thoughts was that the effects of the vampire effects on her were really good.
The teeth,
the eyes. And they look more pasty when they're like, well, she particularly looks more pasty when she's like fully, now we know she's a vampire. She's always got blood on her face. Like the whole movie, she got blood from when she's been biting everybody.
Yeah, nobody gets cleaned up throughout the film. So any blood that is spilt, it stays on them. People just get actively dirtier as the movie goes along.
I like when movies do that. That's more realistic.
But I will say I also liked her action sequences.
Yes.
She does a lot of fighting.
She does.
They do a lot of throwing her around and tackling her and slamming her down.
They try their best.
It's very believable.
Yeah.
But she was, I mean, it wasn't scary, but she did a good job at like playing like a vampire you're supposed to be very terrified of because she can kill you. Like,
and she's very small, so she moves real quick.
Yes.
Although the one scene where she just appeared in the background with Peter, because Peter's like, he gets a splinter in his finger and he's like he's being extra dramatic about it, and she just walks up in the hallway in the doorway like, hey Peter, I'm about to kill you. He's like, oh snap.
Let's backtrack a little bit to talk about Catherine Newton again.
Okay.
Because we didn't talk about Abigail's powers.
Oh yeah, so vampires of course have various powers over the years and lore. She can control people with her mind.
Yes, so I guess if she turns you in this universe, if you're a vampire, if she turns you, she can literally control your mind and body. So
that part of vampire lore applies. If you get bit, you turn into a vampire.
So that's kind of how Catherine Newton goes. She gets bit, and eventually she turns into a vampire, and Abigail uses her to kill Peter.
Yes.
And then we get a good and Catherine Newton did really good acting
playing a vampire,
playing like a vampire
who's
version
mind
of herself.
Controlled.
Because I guess it wasn't Catherine Newton at that point anymore.
No,
I guess she was gone.
I think so.
And she had her own separate. They had like a dual ballet dance sequence.
Yeah, that was kind of that was one.
It was a lot of ballet, but it wasn't.
It was how it was filmed was kind of cool. So I'll give it that.
And she had her doing ballet in the sunlight, and she was kind of like burning.
Smoking.
And
her skin was smoking.
Yes, her skin was smoking.
Ew.
Next cast member we have on the list is Dan Stevens, who plays Frank. He is the corrupt former police detective. And this is going into my notes.
Okay.
Because you notice here, he's a corrupt former police detective. It doesn't list any skills or anything he brought to the team.
Oh.
Because he didn't. And I found that strange that he was there.
I took him as the leader of the pack, even though Giancarlo's character is the one that got them together. So you're right. What was his...
Dan Stevens didn't do anything during the kidnapping.
No.
Melissa Barrera was the one who administered the sleep drug.
Yep.
He didn't do the driving. He just bossed them around.
And made some mistakes.
Yeah, and made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, and then he got real evil and vindictive at the end.
Yeah, so Dan Stevens
you're right.
plays a jerk throughout the whole film. He's basically the guy running point, I guess, on the crew for this heist. He doesn't really do anything special or contribute anything. He just bosses everybody around.
He does. I'm trying to think. He tries to kill Abigail, but we already know it's not gonna work. He gets stabbed with a stake.
Yeah. I guess he was there, and it was revealed that Giancarlo kind of just set him up to use him to help him kill Abigail. Yes. So maybe that's why he was there, not because he could do anything special, but
because he had a connection.
Okay,
to Lambert.
Sure. So, eventually, Dan Stevens, when it's down to just him and Joy being the last two people left, Giancarlo Esposito turns Dan Stevens into a vampire. And like we said, he betrays Giancarlo Esposito and kills him pretty quickly.
Like 30 seconds later.
Instantly stakes him in the back.
Maybe 15 seconds later.
Mm-hmm. And he ends up being our official antagonist at the end of the film.
We get a secondary villain who turns into a primary villain.
Yes.
Essentially.
So in the third act, Abigail gets reduced to secondary antagonist, and Dan Stevens becomes the big bad of the
movie
film.
turns to be Frank versus Abigail.
So Joy and Abigail have to team up in order to defeat Frank.
No, I will say I didn't see that coming.
I didn't, and I liked it.
I like the fact, even though the reveal of her being a vampire was already obvious, the reveal of why she brought them all there was a nice little twist. The reveal of Giancarlo's character actually wanting to get up out of that deal was a nice little twist. And the fact that Frank turned into a vampire and then became the villain was awesome. And they all happened pretty quickly behind each other.
Like we said, after that first killing, the pace kind of just keeps going. Yeah, they don't really take many breaks. So.
Which is good, because we already had the slowish build up.
And they set the timer. They only have until daylight. I guess they only have 24 hours, so they can't be there all day.
We ain't got weeks and weeks on this.
But Dan Stevens is a good actor. I like seeing Dan Stevens things. He was in Cuckoo.
Yep.
We liked him in Godzilla X Kong.
We did
as well. This was the worst character I've ever seen him.
I would say the acting wasn't bad, but his character
was the worst. He was just he was just an antagonist, just to be there. He just antagonized everybody. He didn't really do anything or help the team.
He actually tried to leave at one point.
And he tried to leave.
And they were like, well, and didn't want to say why he was leaving. It's like, no, dog, that's not how that's going to work.
Last character on the list, but certainly not least, is Melissa Barrera, who plays Joy, who is our lead character in the film. Mm-hmm. She is a military medic and recovering addict. To the team, she is the one who administers the sleep drug, to Abigail.
Yep.
And she is the only person who is allowed to speak to Abigail in the beginning.
For 15 minutes.
And
then Dan
Stevens makes a stupid decision.
Jacks it up. Now I guess she wasn't supposed to take the blindfold off of Abigail, but she's 12, y'all. Y'all can't have her up there with that blindfold for a whole day.
Giancarlo Esposito is his guy, and his guy said nobody's supposed to go in there but Melissa Barrera, and he went in there anyway. So literally,
they was there for less than 2 hours. He had already went up in there.
Because technically, Joy broke the rules by lifting the blindfold, but nobody would have known that had they all followed their part
and
of
not
the rules.
Go talk to the girl. So he deserved it.
Joy didn't do that wrong.
Right. So her character was cool. She also fell into the characters doing dumb things trope, like everybody else in this movie, because you just like, why is you doing this? But I will say, if she didn't make it out of this, I would have been like, that's okay. I mean, it's a vampire movie.
You know what? even though the dad didn't need to show up at the end, if he'd showed up and killed Joy, I'd have been like, fair.
I mean, it's a vampire movie, and everybody else is dead.
It's a vampire movie, and y'all are here because you kidnapped a girl.
She was still a kidnapper.
Yeah.
So Joey...
It's not her fault she's a vampire.
Joey was still a kidnapper. We found out that she was not a very good mom either.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also an addict. Yeah. So it was just like...
Because even though Abigail orchestrated her own kidnapping, you didn't have to do it.
You could have went home.
You didn't know that.
You could have went to go take care of your son you left behind.
Twice. You didn't have to take the job. And then you took the job and realized as a child, which I guess goes against your morals, and you had another opportunity to walk out and you didn't. So I would have been... okay if he had killed her.
Right. They all wanted the cash money.
But I liked Marissa Barrera's character. I like Joy. I liked the dynamic that she had with Abigail.
That was cute at the end.
I didn't like that she kept putting up with Dan Stevens' crap. I felt like she should have fought back. I didn't understand why nobody. And that goes into maybe my notes
because he was
later.
The detective. I don't know.
And we'll get into that in likes and dislikes.
Okay.
But I liked Marissa Barrera's character. She lives at the end. She ends up...
She's the only one. Well, only one of our ragtag team that does.
Right. So after Dan Stevens turns, because he's awful. He's an awful person. So when he turns into a vampire, he's worse. He tries to kill her. And Abigail comes in, clutch, saves her. And they basically have a vampire off with the assistance of Joey.
Yeah.
And together they stake Dan Stevens, and he explodes, which is something that happens in this film.
So if a sun hits a vampire in this, kaboom!
Yes. So I guess
if blood's everywhere,
daylight causes them to explode, and if you stake them, they explode. So I guess if they die, they just blow up. Which there's no discreet way to kill a vampire in this universe.
No, it's all bloods, guts, and stomach.
I prefer the dust.
Okay.
Rather than it's pieces. If they don't just blow up into just liquid and blood, their intestines
on the walls.
Yes, there's fleshy parts and intestines
on the floor and the carpet
all over the place. Like cleaning up that place.
They
is
like
crazy.
Picking off eyeballs and stuff off their forehead.
After they kill Dan Stevens, Marissa Barrera has like pieces of intestine on top of her that's just like pick off and throw.
Well, when Giancarlo got blown up, I noticed there was some sort of stomach or something piece on the wall behind him.
And when
I was like, is that his body?
Nasty. And when they turn,
back meat.
we get. I guess the only turning we get is Dan Stevens. Turning into a vampire. Oh my God. That was gross. He like spits up all of his blood.
In all of his body.
Yeah.
He has no blood left because he coughs it all up in his turning scene. And I'm like, could you stop? Plug him up. This is disgusting.
The movie is very bloody.
So much blood in that scene. I was like, there's no way he can survive this even as a vampire because I thought his pancreas was gonna come up out of it.
I'm surprised like organs didn't come out.
It was so much coughing up of stuff.
So those are all of our characters. Let's get into these likes and dislikes.
I will say that I like all the turns of the movie I liked. So even though the slow build up, and we kind of already talked about this, all the little back-to-back turns was kind of like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Mm-hmm. So I like the plot. Overall, even though we knew she was a vampire before, I still like that they built in some plot and some revelations, and it wasn't just a straightforward, she's a vampire, she's gonna kill them all, end of story type of situation. Yeah. That was good.
I liked how everyone was accepting of the vampire lore.
Okay.
Very quickly.
You're right.
After Marissa Barrera is tasked as the only person who's allowed to go in and speak with Abigail so that she can only hear one voice. Mm-hmm. So she doesn't know that
she can't ID anybody.
Right.
Yep.
So they grow close because Marissa Barrera has a child. Mm-hmm. So she uncuffs her, lifts the blindfold on her. Marissa Barrera keeps her face covered.
Yes.
But Abigail's is, I guess, free to be on the bed because she's still chained to the bed, I guess.
Yeah, she takes her handcuffs from the back and moves them to the front.
Yeah, she's still chained to the bed. But they get close, and Abigail tells Joy, I'm sorry what's going to happen to you, and that her father, she alludes that her father's a very powerful man. So Joy goes downstairs and goes downstairs to Frank because Frank is the only person who knows
more than they know. Right.
She's like, okay, so who's this girl's dad?
Right.
Because I don't need to know specifics, but if she was like, she is saying that she's dangerous, so I need to know. Mm-hmm. Frank plays it down like, oh, she's getting in your head.
Right.
And he goes upstairs like an idiot.
Now, blindfold is off of Abigail at this point.
With no mask on. He's not even supposed to be in a room.
I don't know why he entered the room without even a mask on. Whatever.
Because he's dumb.
Oh, because he thought she would have the blindfold. Okay, whatever.
And he's unsmart.
Keep going.
But he goes in the room and Abigail sees his face. But basically, he asks her who her dad is. Mm-hmm. He tried to sneak, because I guess this is him sneaking off to get information because he don't know what he's leading on that he
Right.
knows. So she tells him that her father's Christophe Lazar. And
Dracula. I'm
right.
just gonna call the man
essentially.
Dracula.
Because he says he goes by many names. So whenever they say that, it's like, okay, so you're
Dracula.
Right. Dan Stevens, like you said, tries to leave without saying anything.
Grabs his coat, puts it on, and try to head out the door.
And also, we didn't include, this is all for a $7 million per person split.
Yes.
It's the job. So he is like, y'all can split my $7 million, I'm out. And grabs his coat and tries to leave. Joey stops him. She's like, you need to tell us what's going on. And they all kind of, well, he says, it's Christophe Lazar.
Right.
And only the adults in the room seem to know who that is.
Except for Catherine Newton's character. She's like, who?
Right. So they all are like sharing campfire stories about the creepy things that they've heard about Lazar and his hitman, and his signature is to like tear people limb from limb.
Right, because apparently he has a hitman named Valdez.
Yes.
So apparently Dracula
yes.
has a hitman named Valdez, and all these stories of Valdez start coming up of what he's done to other people's bodies.
Who's like this crazy monstrous serial killer hitman that he
takes
has.
people's arms off and stuff.
So when they find out that she's a vampire and that she's the daughter of Christophe Lazar.
Well, they don't think she's a vampire. They just know that her dad.
Oh, yes. So the in the beginning when they just know about the dad, they don't know he's a vampire.
No.
But they do know that he's
got a hitman that's a little spooky.
With some weird supernatural feats that they're all terrified about. So I like the fact that they were kind of open to the fact that this is a little freaking weird. But when Abigail does reveal herself to be a vampire, I like that they go back to the living room where they were originally talking about Lazar, and they're now going over all the things that they know about vampires.
So they can try to kill her.
And I love that Catherine Newton is like, are we talking like Anne Rice or True Blood?
Different types of vampires.
So they're
Twilight,
going over
she
like
says.
steaks, garlic, crosses, and
sunlight.
And Joey is telling them like, this is stupid. It's not gonna work.
No.
You
don't think she's been through this?
She's a real life monster. This is not a TV show.
Right.
She does not help them go up there to try to kill that girl.
She doesn't, rightfully so, because they all come back down jacked up.
Yeah, but that was my like. I like the fact that they were open to the fact that something weird and freaky and supernatural is going on here because of Lazar and Valdez. But then when she reveals herself to be a vampire, they're like, oh, okay, so full vampire mode. It's not. We're not even debating it. We need to like go down the list of how to kill a vampire.
We need to get her. And they have a big debate because they're like, if we kill her, then her dad gonna show up and she dead. Like, what is he gonna do to us? But they eventually settle on she got to go, and we need to get up out of here.
It was funny. It made me think of Jurassic Park 3.
Okay.
When Sam Neill.
Yes.
His character, I don't know why I'm drawing
Dr. Grant.
In Jurassic Park 3, when his assistant steals the raptor eggs,
yes,
and Grant is gonna throw him off the bridge,
oh,
and he keeps them, and Taylor Leon is like, why are you keeping them? He's like, well, if they find us without the eggs, they're gonna eat us regardless.
That's probably one of the best scenes.
If they find us without these?
That is one of the best scenes because he's like. And then he take them back. He's like, hold up.
Right.
This ain't going to be good for us. This not going to be good. So, yes, it is very much like that. I also like the fact that Abigail plays them for a second.
I love it.
She's already playing them because she's a vampire. She's playing with her food, quote unquote. But she knows that there's a rumor of this guy Valdez. She basically convinces Joey that Dan Stevens' character is Valdez.
Because they already don't trust each other.
They're already kind of like, we don't know each other. We trying to get up out of here. Y'all keeping secrets. But Joey goes back downstairs and is like, she says you're Valdez. And he's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And she was like, of course you would say that because you're actually Valdez. So there's like a moment where they can't even trust who is who. And it's like, y'all, the girl is Valdez. And she is the one tearing all these people apart.
When they finally get her trapped in there, they're still trying to ask her about Valdez. And she's rolling her eyes because Joy's like, she's Valdez, you idiot.
Right.
I love the fact.
We're piecing it together, guys.
That she's the hitman that has been doing all her dad's dirty work.
Basically, that's what over the centuries, she's been killing people for fun and being the number one hitman for Dracula, essentially.
Did you have any other likes?
I don't think I had anything else.
I had 3 dislikes.
Oh, I do have some. I have one dislike. You go with yours first.
Mine is that I felt like the characters were just a little too dumb to be professionals of anything.
That was my one dislike.
Oh, is it? Okay, so
Yeah.
great. We're
We
of
got the
one
same
mind.
one.
Yes. We're supposed to believe that they are like the best of the best in the black
that's why they
market
were
of what
recruited.
their skills are.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess this is kind of a two-part complaint, but they're supposed to be the best of the best.
Yeah.
They're constantly splitting up to go. They commit all of the horror movie sins.
Not just in
which are
pairs.
crazy.
They actually split up to go solo.
They say I'll be back.
There's a vampire in the house
Yeah.
who clearly can get out of her room.
She could take all of y'all together. So why do you continue several times throughout the film they split up to go look for her? And each time they do, I'm thinking,
shows up
what is your plan when
corner.
you, Joey,
Right.
find her
By yourself.
By yourself.
With the steak and the garlic that don't work.
Right. What is your plan?
It didn't make no sense. My note was no one's questioning why they. Oh, this is a different note. I thought the characters were not that smart because nobody was questioning why they needed 6 or 7 people to watch one 12-year-old girl.
Yes.
Y'all don't think that's weird?
Unfortunately, this is going to be another American Dad reference.
Okay.
But there's an episode of American Dad when the husband, Stan, is trying to steal a painting of his wife from the museum. Mm-hmm. So he asks Roger to help him. Okay. So Roger goes through this whole plan where he's like, we need an explosives guys. We need a lockpick. We need an acrobat. We need a Black Widow-esque type of girl who can like jump through like lasers. And Stan is like, why do we need all these people? It's you and me. We can go in this museum. We can steal this picture.
It was just like, y'all not questioning why Giancarlo is like, I need 12 people to kidnap a 12-year-old. And you're like, but she just 12. What you mean?
It made sense when he needed all 17 of y'all to kidnap her, but not when he needed all 17 of y'all to stay in the house to watch her.
Right. For a whole day. It was like, now what if these negotiations take 48 hours? Then what you gonna do?
And they tried to paint it as and I guess it's all because it's a lie.
Well,
but Giancarlo Esposito basically says like, you guys have to watch out for his hitmen.
Right.
But
it's like, how would they know?
What is Catherine Newton gonna do if Valdez shows up? Like, what was the plan?
I don't know.
What was the medic's role gonna be if they didn't need to be here? Sure, the sharpshooter and Dan Stevens and the muscle.
All right,
the three of them made sense, but
they had at least some physical powers.
Dean. What was the point of him staying there?
You gonna drive through the driveway or something? Yeah, that and the splitting up didn't make any sense to me because the girl unhooks herself from the handcuffs, like slips her arms out in front of them. Yeah. So, and we know she killed Dean while she was supposedly locked up.
And the murders are gruesome. She ripped his head off. His shoulder ripped, not cut, ripped.
Bit it like somehow she got the man's head off.
Bit through Rickles' neck in a second and was gone.
So why are y'all roaming the house by yourself when y'all know this girl can get out? And first of all, it's her house, so she know where to go.
She took out the Marine.
Oh, she lost.
She took out the one Marine y'all had on y'all team without even thinking about it.
So what my dislike was the fact that the characters were not that smart. And I don't particularly like that in movies.
Dean had way too many lines.
Oh yeah, I know.
Way too much dialogue.
They went nowhere.
And it went nowhere. He was just rambling.
None of his conversations did anything for the movie. No plot advancement. Just like you just want to.
I guess it gave you a good character that you couldn't wait to see Abigail kill.
Okay, you said good, and I was like, "Excuse me."
No,
you had me in the first half.
Every horror movie's got to have the person that you want to, because you got to want to see somebody get killed in a horror movie. So you have to create characters who make it easier for the audience to want to see that. So,
and he got it.
He did. Oh my God. Couldn't have come faster. Dan Stevens is a whole dislike.
His character overall?
Just his character. I like him as an actor. This is no shade to Dan Stevens. I like him as an actor. The character was annoying until the third act of the film.
When he turned into a vampire?
When you turn into a vampire, you're not annoying because you're the villain. So
yeah. He didn't stay a vampire very long.
He didn't.
He was strong, though. Good for him.
Like I said, I was confused. I was confused why the crew didn't kill him. I was confused why Joey did not kill him early on.
Because when Joey is pointing a gun at him because she thinks because Dan Stevens wants to go basically torture Abigail to get out the house, like so she can be like, this is how y'all get out. He wants to torture her to get the information out. So Joey's got a gun pointed at him, and Musclehead actually takes Dan Stevens' side to go upstairs to go torture the girl, and it was kind of like, but he's not the boss. Why are you following? Why are we torturing a kid?
Y'all are all getting the same amount of split. It doesn't even make he's not even getting more money for running point.
Right.
And he didn't help with the kidnapping.
He was basically just the admin of the group.
Yeah.
And you kind of like, sir, why you bossing everybody around?
Yeah.
We all on even playing field here.
So he didn't help with the kidnapping.
No.
Because he didn't really do anything.
Nope.
He wasn't the driver. He didn't lockpick. He didn't hack. He didn't administer the sleep drugs.
Nope. He didn't even carry the girl in there.
No. He didn't do anything but boss everybody around. Yeah. And then when he found out what the true tea was, he tried to leave y'all there for dead. I would have put a bullet in him. I would have.
They could have at least shot him in the arm or something.
Because y'all all are terrible people. So it's not like shooting the worst person in the world. Frank is your moral code.
Ain't nobody looking for him.
No, nobody's looking for any of y'all. You'll be dead.
Yeah.
So,
True that.
So
True that. Yeah, his character was very just unnecessarily annoying and bossy.
He just kept antagonizing Joy for no reason. I don't know why he has so much beef. It seemed like he just hated Joy from the beginning.
I was just about to say he was picking on her from the very beginning.
And she did nothing.
And she was trying to like he got stabbed with a pencil. And she's a medic, so she tries to like patch him up, and he was like, he says thank you in a very like shady sort of way, and then he follows up and says, "Don't ever touch me like that again." And it's just like,
oh yeah, because he was mad because she stopped him from punching Abigail.
Right.
He said, "If you grab me like that, I'm gonna have to respond. We're gonna punch a girl in the face
for no reason."
She was going to be administered sleep drugs. You didn't need to knock her teeth out.
2 seconds later.
So,
like, why are you giving a 12-year-old a black eye?
It was so weird that they didn't kill Frank early
You're right.
on. I would have, and he's an obstacle, and that would have saved the third act. So,
I mean, you got to have a third act.
You got to have a third act.
Yeah, something.
So, I mean, that's why he's there. I'm not saying he shouldn't be in the movie, but
Right.
I did find his character just like insufferable.
Okay, fair enough. More insufferable than Dean?
No.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Dean was the worst character.
Yeah, Dean was too much talk.
And my last dislike is that I do wish that Rickles was alive for the Abigail reveal so that we could find out what he was involved with.
Because what possibly if Dean could have done? He was just a driver. So
I didn't even know why Dean was there.
He drove somebody off a cliff by accident. He forgot to pick somebody up. Maybe that was his thing. He forgot to pick somebody up. Mm-hmm. But we'll never know what Rickles' issue was.
Also, it was kind of a waste because they didn't need a pro driver. There was no chase sequence.
Like he drives stupidly for no reason.
They should have questioned early on why so many of them were there because they didn't need a pro driver because he drove a van and they weren't even chased or pursued, so they didn't need him.
He was driving like it was though. What are you doing?
Love Catherine Newton, but she unlocked one thing and she never hacked again.
No,
because they were locked in the house.
They didn't need her. Didn't
really need Rickles because it's a kidnapping mission. If you shot somebody.
You didn't need Rickles and Muscle.
Honestly.
You only needed one or the other.
Super didn't need Rickles because he was trying to shoot Lazar when he was walking in the house. He was like, should I take the shot? He's surrounded by bodyguards. Even if he wasn't a vampire and you killed him, the kidnapping is botched. Right. Because everybody has been alerted. Dad. Everybody has been alerted a sniper is on.
You killed the dad that was going to give up the money.
Yeah.
So why would you kill the man to sign the check?
So stupid. I didn't get why he was there.
I don't think you needed him and the muscle guy on the same team. So somebody
you don't need a Marine and a muscle guy.
Somebody should have been like, why are y'all both here to carry the body?
Because they say Marines are like trained to compete in the Olympics. So you don't need the Peter.
Right.
Peter was unnecessary.
Because Rickles could have carried the body. Anywho.
Right. Those are all my dislikes.
Okay.
I guess we already talked about the ending.
Yeah, so pretty much the ending is Dan Stevens' character turns into a vampire because he is bitten by Giancarlo Esposito's character. He immediately kills Giancarlo Esposito, turns on Joey. Mm-hmm. Abigail shows up to try to help fight. He bites Abigail pretty bad, leaves her behind. Joey ends up getting out to we're now in this circular room where the sun comes out. And we basically and then somehow Abigail survives the first bite.
I guess because she's so old.
Okay, sure.
Maybe that's maybe the older you are, the more resistant you are to
She's
stuff.
probably been through this before. So anyway, we have a vampire off between Abigail, Dan Stevens, and then Melissa Brer coming up the rear, also trying to fight.
And we said at the same time, we're like, it's about to be a vampire off.
Right. They win. The ladies win. The chicks win, blowing up Dan Stevens. And then at the very, very end, for unnecessary reasons, in my opinion, Abigail's dad, Dracula, shows up, almost wants to eat Joey, because she's, you know, a human or whatnot.
And covered in blood, I guess.
Right. But Abigail pleads her case to leave her alone because she says, she was there for me when you weren't. And it's kind of like, I mean, he's a vampire and you've been going through this for centuries. Whatever.
Yeah. But
they let Melissa Barrera's character go, and she rides off on the sunset with a junkie drugged up a bomb pop.
I had a random note that I like that Radio Silence keeps dressing Melissa Barrera in the same outfits in all her movies.
She looks like she's in Scream.
They keep putting her in blue jeans and a gray top and boots.
That's all she has.
And Scream 5,
but
Scream
she got
6,
a cut.
and this.
Her hair could be different though.
That was another note. So when she took off Abigail's blindfold, she kept her face mask on, which pretty much only Joey kept her face mask on, which pretty much only covers like her mouth and nose.
Nose and below.
Yes, her eyes and her bob are very clearly visible. And I thought it was funny because her bob is very distinct.
She got a distinct haircut.
Yeah, you're wearing your face mask, but Abigail's going to be able to spot you out in the street. Like,
nobody. It's like
this bob is crazy.
And veins.
Nobody. You're the only person I've ever seen with this bob.
It's a haircut you got to go specifically request when you go to the shop.
She was starting to look like Nancy in The Craft.
Listen,
so, like, girl, this is not enough. You should have kept the blindfold.
I noticed you under there, girl.
Right.
So, yeah. Let's talk about our favorite line or scene.
I didn't have any favorite lines. Okay. A lot of the lines were funny, but I had two favorite scenes.
Okay.
One you mentioned, the Joey reading all the crew for money.
Yes.
I like that when she read all of their basically read all their tapestries for $100 bills.
Listen, read them for filth.
Good. And I liked the scene when they finally trapped Abigail in the elevator, and she revealed that she orchestrated the whole plan, and she revealed all of their backstories.
That was a good scene.
I did like that scene.
I would say my favorite outside of the reading everybody for filth scene would be Catherine Newton turning into a vampire.
Good.
Because I didn't like, she's bit and everybody's kind of like, there's a scene right before that where she puts her hand in the sun because she's like, oh snap, am I about to explode?
They're all kind of looking too like, girl, you about to explode.
Is she gonna burn up? And she doesn't. But eventually you just don't get bit by a vampire and nothing happens. Right. So the rest of the movie, you just kind of like, is she gonna make it out? Is she gonna make it out? Eventually she turns, and at that moment you kind of like, oh dang.
As soon as it heals.
We liked you, but her turn and her getting possessed and then her killing Muscle, it was actually pretty good.
I liked that part of the scene as well after she killed Peter.
Yeah.
And Joey and Frank show up. And she's all the way across the room and her back is turned. And she's like, oh no, she got him.
Right.
And Joey's like,
girl, we know.
Joey's like, stand up and walk over here.
Right. So she stands up, turn around, like, oh, this ain't.
Before she even turned around, Joey's like, we need to run.
Right. So yeah, she basically says run.
I love the fact that they clued into the fact, like, it's too late for her.
She's turned. She's gone for the world. That was my favorite scene too.
Did you have any random notes before we do our rating?
I had a couple fun facts that I pulled from IMDb.
Like
so Abigail is Hebrew for my father's joy, which I thought was interesting because she's her dad's hitman. So it was kind of like, oh, perfect name, I guess.
And we kind of get in the scene where she's giving the backstory. Joey kind of reveals that the reason Abigail is doing all this because her father has lost interest in her.
Yes.
And he doesn't really want a child. And I guess that was the one honest thing that Abigail had revealed.
You're right.
In the beginning. She was like, oh, my dad wanted a child in the beginning, but eventually he grew disinterested, which is funny. Interview with the vampire parallels.
Yeah. And then there's several parts in the movie where they show a statue of like, who I'm going to call Dracula with this top hat on and a little girl. So it's kind of like, oh, well, y'all probably used to be like a pair of some sort. And eventually the love waned over the centuries.
It seems like at the end he finally started to get the message.
Gray Man,
a little bit
when
he decided to listen to her to save Melissa Barrera.
That scene was kind of awkward though, because we hadn't seen him the whole movie. So I was like, I'm supposed to care about this tall gray man that's Dracula. Okay, yeah.
But that I didn't have any other random notes. I'm ready to get to the rating.
Okay, and then the other final thing that I had as a fun fact: the directors referred to this film as "Ready or Not" on steroids. Yeah,
much more bloody. Absolutely. So the thing with Ready or Not is if you don't, spoiler alert for Ready or Not, if you haven't seen Ready or Not.
Yep.
But if you fail to perform the terms of the curse,
yes,
you explode.
Yes,
just like the vampires.
Oh, you're right.
So I guess I didn't even draw that together. So yeah.
Like I said, and the reason why I said this they have a what do you want to call it? A tail, what do you call somebody who has a thing that they do all the time? Mark. A signature. There it is.
Yes. Okay.
You can tell there's a reason why I said this earlier, because in the end of Scream, we have our females who are our final girls who've been through a lot. They all bloody and jacked up, and they walk off in the end. And Ready or Not, that's essentially what happens. And in this one, that's like she's still got the blood and guts all over. She gets in a car, she just ride off into the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not a bad thing, but I was like, I can tell that they directed this.
All right. So how do we like this movie?
I would give it 3 Nicole Kidmans.
I would give it 3.5.
I almost said 3.5.
I think we're
I'm
close.
going to keep my 3.
Okay.
Stay my ground.
A 3 and a 3.5. The reasons for my 3.5 was that I only liked 3 of the characters, really.
Yeah.
Catherine Newton, Melissa Barrera, and Alicia Weir.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only ones
That's
I
pretty
enjoyed.
good, though.
Yeah. Like, I would have been fine. I mean, I would have been fine if they all died, but we said early on we hoped Catherine Newton lived.
I did.
I would have also been fine if both Joey and Catherine Newton were the
I would have
only
been fine
survivors.
with just Catherine Newton.
Yeah, or just Catherine
Sorry.
Newton.
Nothing against Melissa Barrera, but her character was pretty awful.
But for all the issues I had, Alicia Weir made up for a lot of it.
Yes.
Abigail made up for a lot of whatever issues that I had.
Yeah.
Giancarlo Esposito was in this movie, so that's a plus.
Okay, you get an automatic half for that.
And it had a slow start, but it did pick up. So
okay,
yeah.
My 2 minuses would be for the fact that we knew she was a vampire before. I really do feel like they should have held off on that and found a different way to market the movie.
Yeah.
And then also, I don't like dumb characters. Like, I can take 1 or 2, but everybody, I don't like that.
There has to be a way they can market. I mean, if they can market musicals without making them musicals.
Yeah, and I guess I shouldn't call the characters dumb. They just did foolish. Everybody can't be foolish. That's a better word.
That was dumb. You walking off to find vampire by yourself is dumb.
Too foolish, but I can't have everybody foolish.
That's crazy.
I ain't done. That's an automatic one off.
It's nonsense. It's total
just
nonsense.
Didn't understand why they wasn't together.
Right.
Anywho.
All right. So that is our review for Abigail. What are we watching next week?
We are getting our last stop on the Sony Venom train. So this will be Venom: The Last Dance. I don't.
First stop on the Knoll train.
Sure. You think so? You
Nope.
think no? Okay.
I don't.
You being funny.
I don't think Knoll's coming back.
I don't think that they've done any type of early screening, so I haven't heard anything about the movie yet. Now I will say they initially projected this to do like 100 million opening weekend. They have backed down on
what
they did. They have backed down on that number considerably to now where it might be the lowest opening of the trilogy.
First of all,
just like y'all like meteorologists. You can get it wrong and you still keep your job. I don't get it.
In 2024, the audacity for anybody to think they're getting $100 million opening nowadays is crazy.
That's what
you got some serious guff.
I'm about to go. I almost want to go find the tweet where I saw it.
That's
like,
hilarious.
I thought y'all said that this was going to do 100 million, but I don't know. We'll see when it come out.
Not doing the critic screenings makes sense. What do you think the critics gonna say?
It's fantastical.
You might as well let's
Best
all
Venom yet.
Let's just all go see this together. Let's all get it over with together.
Yeah,
there's no point.
They'll probably at least do like a social media embargo lift, maybe, right? It's coming out in a week.
They will have to do a social media embargo lift because they will need people to remind people this movie is coming out.
Fair, because the marketing has not been
it's
great.
Non-existent.
Now I think they did a panel at New York Comic Con this weekend, so it's been in the news because of that. But they've been doing no commercials or nothing.
They've been doing more of those like what do they call them? Activations.
Okay.
Where you go to a thing or you use your mobile device to interact with something.
Okay.
Venom related. That's not pulling in the dollars. It's just not. No. Commercials.
It didn't work for Borderlands.
Commercials and ads are how we remember things.
It didn't work for Borderlands.
It's tradition.
They should have did like a Happy Meal or something.
Borderlands threw a great activation.
Yeah, there ain't no food.
They had a great offsite at the SDCC.
Drinks was good though.
Drinks was strong.
Stiff.
Yes.
Quite stiff. But yeah, next week we will be getting the final movie of the trilogy for Venom.
Any expectations?
I don't think I'm gonna like it. I didn't like the last one. And the first one just barely squeaks by on my liked meter.
Yeah, they did a lot to make me not like the second one because Woody Harrelson as a villain and a psychopath.
It should have been pretty good.
Yeah, and Naomi Harris was also...
Should have been pretty good.
But...
Killed it.
Killed
it with fire.
I would have had more faith because Chiwetel Ejiofor is in this, but...
He'll probably be
just
fine.
They wasted Woody Harrelson, so...
Listen, he'll probably be the one to stand out.
Yes.
If I had to guess. But stay tuned because that is exactly what we will be reviewing next week.
Mordo's in the Sony universe. In the Spum. It's the Spumverse.
I don't know how they're going to explain any of this. Anywho, thanks for listening. If you like our show, please give it a share. You can leave us a review on Apple or on our website, vaguelynerdypodcast.com, where you can also leave us a voice message we can play on the show as long as it's appropriate. Because we won't play nothing that's not appropriate.
Nope.
Unless I can do a rebuttal. That's the rule. That's the rule. You can follow us on Twitter at VaguelyNerdyPod or Instagram and Threads at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast. We are quite active on Threads.
We are.
Threads is popping. Now I will say it's two of us that run the account, so if you come rude, you're gonna get two of us responding.
We do jump. So
anywho, we are also on TikTok at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, and then where else are we? Facebook as Vaguely Nerdy Podcast as well. You can also reach us via Gmail if you have a movie suggestion, comment, notes. You just want to leave us a nice message because you love our show so much. And you can reach us at vaguelynerdypodcast@gmail.com. And if you are listening to us on a podcast app, you can watch our animated show on YouTube at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast.
Until next time.
Bye.